The following podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing said on the podcast should be construed as investment advice, nor should anything said be relied upon as the basis for any investment decision. Any reference to an investment's past or potential performance is not and should not be construed as a recommendation or as a guarantee of any specific outcome or profit. All opinions expressed by hosts or guests on the podcast are solely their own personal opinions and do not reflect the opinion of everymickle.com or any company affiliated with the hosts or the guests. Hosts and guests on the podcast may maintain positions in securities discussed in the podcast. Neither everymickle.com nor its affiliates or subsidiaries warrant the completeness or accuracy of the opinions expressed herein, and they should not be relied upon as such. Strategies and investments discussed may fluctuate in price or value and may not be suitable for you. They do not take into account your particular investment objectives, financial situation, or needs, and they are not intended as a recommendation to buy or sell any security mentioned. Speak to a licensed investment advisor before making any investment decision.
Evening, everybody. Welcome. Sorry about the little hiccups at the delay, but welcome. I'm Randy.
And I'm Danhai.
And this is this week's Brick Talk. And as usual, we start off every Brick Talk by giving a little preamble, which in a lot of words will say that I am not a licensed investment advisor. Danhai Hall is a licensed investment advisor, but while we are talking on this program, no matter who is talking, no matter what we say, no matter who comes on, no matter how it might think like we're saying something or what we might mean, I can assure you of something that we are not giving any financial advice at all. Only Danhai is licensed to do that, and he is not doing that on this show. Just two guys who really like to talk about the market, understand business, and like to have a conversation with anybody else who wants to talk about the stock market or business in Jamaica or anywhere else, investing in general.
Indeed.
This is what the conversation is for, but we're not dispensing any financial advice. You shouldn't buy or sell any security based upon anything we say in this program. You should only do that with the advice of a licensed investment advisor in an actual advisory session. And if you want to do that, I advise you to go to Danhai in his capacity as an actual advisor. Set a appointment at dhalladvisor.com, but please don't think that anything I said on this show this evening or any evening for that matter is financial advice. We are not dispensing financial advice. All right?
Danhai, tell him what to do. We're BrickTalk.
Yeah,
Nope.
Definitely not. All right. So with that said, welcome. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you can hear me well. If there's any sound issues, feel free to let me know. Shoot me a speaking request on Twitter. Welcome to the people who are watching us on stream. Welcome to the pro subscribers who are watching us in that little private group of theirs. A nice little private stream. They have a little watch party every week. And yeah, welcome. If you're on YouTube, also welcome. All of the video streams should be up. And if you have anything that you want to say, any point you want to talk about, any questions, any concerns, whatever it is, send a speaking request by clicking the link. If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description that says Twitter Spaces link. Click that, send a speaking request there. We'll approve it, and we'll have a great conversation. Because somebody said that YouTube bad.
YouTube not sounds pretty apparently. Yep.
I don't know. YouTube's audio quality is poor.
Yeah.
I am so sorry if it is. I'm not sure what it could be. Honestly, not sure what it could be. It might just be a bad connection. I hope it is. If it continues, please let me know. Let me just check. In the meantime, Danhai, if you have Danhai, if you have any
Ricardo, Randy, take the top of the screen.
Yeah, I did, but there's a bit of a delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randy, you said?
I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's good?
Yeah. So I was saying, you can tell me about the usual question I ask you every week. What's the most interesting
most exciting thing?
Yeah.
138 student living stock price.
Oh, was still coming out the gate kicking. All right, so this week our topic is
It's not kicking, no. It's not kicking.
it's not kicking at all. Okay.
Yeah. It's alive and kicking, not that.
This week
Dead.
this week our topic is
Right, issue versus APL,
no, Jesus.
like it is every week.
It's not right. Shout out to Adam, I think it was Jason. I saw on Twitter saying that I think the message that he was sending was, I think, a message that Danhai and I say privately all the time, how tired we are of the conversation. Yeah, it's something that if you have gotten into it at any point in time, seriously, over the last, how long are we talking about that, Danhai? Maybe a year, 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the conversation really come forward over the last year.
yeah, I think
Mm.
what I've been saying since it started, but
Mhm.
really, I think a lot heavier. If you listen to the BrickTalk, not BrickTalk, well, BrickTalk, but if you also listen to the earnings season episodes, you've heard us go on and on about it and explain it. And I think maybe in the last year or two, people have been starting to realize what we say and why it makes sense. And other people have been, I don't know, I guess maybe in disagreement with it. Maybe they want.
Themselves trying to why it don't make sense.
Well, cool. I think we can all agree, however, that anybody who wants to understand at least our side of it, um our position on the matter, you can certainly hear it by listening to any of the episodes that we have put
Yep.
out. And if you don't want to, if you haven't heard, then you can go and listen to one of that. But not that we don't want to talk about it, but it's definitely not a major thing that we're talking about this week, nor any other week, unless there's something massive around it, or if somebody wants to hear about it themselves.
Yes, sir.
So I say all that to say that that's definitely not what this week's topic is. This week is, I'm trying to make sure I have the exact title. 1 second, I hear people saying that they have no audio on YouTube. Let me try and fix that. Okay, I'm gonna try again. YouTube people, you can let me know if you're hearing us now. I'm sorry, I know they're saying that the sound has been pretty crappy. I'm honestly not sure what to do. As you can see, we're actually doing it live. So I don't hear it. I'm hearing it fine, and everything on my side is showing that it's sending. So I'm not sure if it's just a bad connection. I don't want to blame any ISP or anything, but I mean, we'll try. We keep trying.
Mhm.
Let me. Yeah, I keep trying. Uh, So I think that this week's topic is the brick rebirth, and it's pretty much us talking about anything that that those stocks that I was going to call it something else, but I figure like a phoenix. The artwork this week is the phoenix of the brick rising up from the phoenix rises out of the um the ashes. Is that what phoenix rises out of? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Brick rebirth. Phoenix is rising out of the ashes of usually, I guess, previous calamity. We have a situation on the market. Often, very often on the market, we have situations where we have people. I think my sound is definitely giving trouble. 1 second, people. I'm so sorry about the sound issues. Give me one moment, please. All right, I am trying one more time. Hearing me fine, Dana?
Yep.
All right, fine. You should be able to also see me, and you should also be able to see my screen.
Mhm.
Apologies, guys. This is what it looks like when you do it on your own. And they're saying the audio really is terrible. All right, I'm trying one more time. I'm hoping that the audio isn't terrible anymore. If it is, let me know. If you're on YouTube and the audio is bad, send a message, send a comment and let me know in the chat. Then you can still hear me fine, right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So I was telling everybody about the topic tonight, brick rebirth, right? I was really thinking about those situations that happen on the market, where maybe something is known as bad or seen as bad for a long time, and then it's fixed or they get a turnaround in the business. COVID did this a lot. COVID did this. This happened a lot with COVID, with a couple of companies where things were bad. They're going through the crunch, and then they use that time to really get themselves set and put in a really much better place, a stronger position with their companies. And rising out of that, we've seen it was, I think maybe the one that jumps to my mind was 2021. By the end, before the start of 2021 to the end of 2021, you saw a huge, almost rebirth in, I think maybe CPJ was a great example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
CPJ,
sir. Definitely.
Yeah. CPJ, which certainly rose out of the ashes of COVID. Yeah. Another example linked also to COVID, I think, is Main Event.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think Main Event is a great example, because Main Event, it
Was
just
under
put
the
out.
problem longer. They're
Say that
under
again?
they're under the COVID problem longer. CPJ was going through it and come out of it. Meaning it was still going through because of lockdowns and things.
True, because the lockdowns officially didn't really end until I think February, March of 2022. And even then, it wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't quite a
Events.
thing there. Yeah, people it took a while to really start up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it wasn't even the first time we get a relaxing. So remember we had a relax and then people expect and then we go right back in. So the second time around, people were like, boy, I'm not gonna really keep my event more than so. Cause next to me go but spend a bag of money and nothing really go on. So took a while to really start back up.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last 2 quarters for Main Event, you can see a lot of that coming right back. Money.
Yeah. So Main Event actually put out their financials 2 days ago. The
Yes,
latest
sir.
financials, the full year numbers, and boy,
Sure.
beyond 151 million in profit.
Yes,
Is what
and there are
they made
losses
it.
in that year. So that's 2 quarters of it just really pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
That is proper money.
Yeah, man. So the first quarter last year, their Q1 was a loss of 40 million. And Q2 was a profit of 20 million. They had a hell of a Q3, 123 million, and they wrapped up the year with 47 million in profit for the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pushing them to, I think, easily their best year ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, man. Outpacing 2020 and 2021. And of course, also almost doubling 2018 and 2019. Yeah, so this is a great example of it, and of a company that found itself turnaround. And there are lots of examples of this on the market. If you're serious about investing, if you're paying attention to the market for a while, there are loads of opportunities like this that come. Really, loads and loads and loads of opportunities that come from time to time. I still see the people saying that the sound is horrible on YouTube. I also see we have one person on Twitter who sent a speaking request already, Dr. Bill himself. Dr. Bill, jump in and talk to us a little bit about your first point while I sort out the sound issues.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's good, Phil?
One day, man.
Phil Burning this.
Spielberg invest. I like that. I like that main event point. We're gonna talk about main event though. What you say now? What you say about 138?
Look how we are talking about
138 I make the
positivity.
ashes.
Look how
138. Well, them a try complete the picture. Them a try paint the complete picture of the topic for the night. Them a start with the ashes. Maybe them a go rise up,
oh boy.
burn it down one time, make the ashes, and then I don't know.
And,
Maybe they have big plans.
boy.
The anti-APO effect. Maybe they're gonna prove
Proof. Or just
prove
or maybe they'll do what needs to be done to
prove
make
it
it
wrong,
sensible.
or I wouldn't even say prove it wrong, but I think so.
Yeah, the exception
I don't want,
is the good scenario.
right, and it has been done in an exceptional way before, so it's not like it can't be done. But you know, the man
It
them
takes a
choose
lot.
bravery. Yeah, it takes a lot of money unnecessarily. That my thing is
Or
just so
maybe they more
unnecessary. But
maybe it's an elaborate plan for a share baba. No.
maybe.
But what do you think
Choose
about it really? Like, well, the thing that like, what do you think that we do with the money?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to take over other halls at UE or if they. I mean, they're very vague in what they've said in terms of what their plans are.
Mm-hmm.
That all I've seen is planning to go beyond student housing and outside of UE. That's
Mm-hmm.
like the universe. It's like okay. I'm sure they're going to stay in real estate, but besides that, partner with GK is interesting. I think it's JMB did their IPO, right? I mean, companies change brokers all the time.
And they're close friends with Sajiko, right?
Very much so. Both those companies are heavily into unit trust and funds and real estate and fun, exciting stuff like that.
Exciting. But 138, boy. I mean, if you're going beyond student housing, then you're housing everybody, right? So it could just be a regular. I'm going to housing generally, going to wider real estate plays that fit the housing market, or it could even be commercial property. I don't know. But at the end of the day, them going to do an APO to raise the money, or if they are raising money, it's going to be an APO, unless they change course, which I doubt they will.
I strongly doubt they'll change course.
Yeah. I mean, profit for a retail shareholder has never been has yet to be a point for anybody for most people considering APOs, right?
Correct.
I mean, they say yes, they care about it, so I can't say that. Okay, who am I to say that they don't? But how you act is action over word, right?
Action first. Action is what matters, and we'll see what
So we'll
additional
see what they
plans.
do.
If they just go in regular APO, then I know my business that 99 other choices. Something like that.
It's an 99 problems and APO ain't one.
APO ain't one. Trust me. Other things we figure out Panama. Rather than put my head and money behind APO.
Indeed. Boy, actually, a lot of the market agree with it. That heavy sell down the moment it dropped.
Random.
Maybe somebody will tell you, maybe somebody will tell you there are other factors, not just the thing there.
Within 13 minutes, right, of an announcement. But nah, something else. 138, which is so illiquid to the point where them say that is why they're in the race. One of the reasons.
Yeah, again, I don't think that. But like, how you feel about that though? Because yes, it's liquid, but then the people coming, the money coming in, would very likely change that based on the amount of dilution they say they're going to put in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the current shareholder, the current share base, and I'm talking about dilution on any one investor, but they are diluting the share base a good amount. 400 and something million shares now, the 700 and something million shares I'm adding. So just
Yeah,
about
adding,
two
right.
times more shares I'm adding, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
hold
that is
on.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. So you guys raising an interesting point. A few interesting points. What I don't want us to skip over them, and I noticed a couple of people have their hand up, so I'm assuming it's the same topic that they wanted to talk on. Apologies to anybody on YouTube. We are trying to sort out the sound. I don't want the sound to be bad, so for now we're talking on Twitter, and I'll try and fix that in a moment. But one of the points I wanted, before I forget it, and then I'll get to Duffy's question because I saw she put her hand up. But one of the points that I think we shouldn't skip, we've been talking for a long time about how responsive the market isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
So, and you know, I have said publicly and privately many times, you know, things happen and you watch the foreign news and you'll hear, you know, Google is a great example. Google launched their own AI tool
Mm-hmm.
privately this week or last week. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was either last week or this week as a competitor to ChatGPT, which is another popular AI tool.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, in the
Microsoft.
demonstration, there was something that was not correct. It made a factual mistake. There was a factual mistake that it made in it. So like, you know, it said what color is the sky, and it
Mm-hmm.
responded that, you know, the sky is, I don't know,
Pink,
pink
Oh.
or shocking
green.
green or something, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately Google deleted the video of them doing it, and the share price fell. And of course, when they're
Mm-hmm.
reporting it in the news, them say, you know, this mistake was made, it's embarrassing, and the share price fell,
Mm-hmm.
implying that, you know, it's as a result of that. And I always laugh
Mm-hmm.
at that because sometimes it is, and on the more
Yeah.
advanced markets, it very much is often you get quick reactions, but the local market is slow. I've been saying that for years. I've tweets upon tweets upon tweets for that. But here is a situation where 138 put out what many of us knew was going to be an APO, but
Mm-hmm.
as the notice came out during the trading day, we saw it drop. Is it really a reaction to it, or just something that happened? What, how certain are you guys that that was actually a reaction to that news?
I I can't say 100%, but I feel I have a good amount of certainty because it's more than thing there. 138 is an illiquid stock. They don't have a very strong buy queue at the point when the thing was announced. So anybody looking to sell at that point would have to come in. I mean, if you check before, you're not really seeing out the trades hitting down to that level until that thing comes out. So if it's going to drop, then hey, if it's not like there's a lot of a thing. It's not like boy. It's say give me a company with a strong buy queue that the queue is the highest buy, it's $1. The highest buy is very close to the thing there, very close to the market price or it generally trades. 138 was not that. So if I'm looking to exit, then I very likely have to take a strong haircut to push that thing down. So why would I trade now? Well, my idea is I wasn't doing it before, but the moment this drop, I'm selling. Yeah, and it doesn't mean that it's a lot of people rushing out. It just means that the person who saw that said, "Boy, it is to me
I'm out.
skills," and
Exactly. I'm out.
I am enough for this to happen.
Right.
So
One,
I think the
because
liquidity
it's
factor in
liquid.
there brings that into it. If it was another company with a very strong buy queue, then I said, "Boy, then you know." It probably wouldn't it probably wouldn't be such an easy thing for it to happen unless a lot of people are pulling their orders out of the buy queue with that in mind. And we've seen it. Companies, they generally, the more liquid stocks take a harder time to fall or rise when things like that, when any one thing happens. But any one thing happens that will cause people to buy or sell higher or lower. So I feel that is that. And but certainty.
Give us a
I mean, I can never
level.
know.
Reasonably.
1
I
to
mean, I
10.
can
How
never know really. I mean,
with 10
I hate
being
that.
the most
Why?
certain.
My try to give me a number for here's Danhai saying Randy.
Oh God, that's
10
true.
being is you sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Spot.
yeah. Or you
So
stood
you
up
know.
beside the
You
person who
said
did
that it
it.
wasn't me. No.
Yeah, and I should make it clear that it wasn't me either. Phil, was it you?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Because I was one of the I saw an APO was coming, so I wouldn't have bought. And if I had
Same.
before, I would have sold before this
Same.
happened.
But I know that if it was me, if I had a car and I was doing that, I'd tell them to do that. So,
Yeah.
Same.
But I mean,
more
I think
than
it was Lee
likely. I'm not
Dunsky.
saying in every case I'll tell that kind of say, but in most cases, yes.
Yeah. Big up Lee Dunsky. Lee Dunsky tweeted that within 13 minutes of the announcement, the stock halted down.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 since it wasn't me on that basis.
Wow.
Why? Bill Berg said.
Very.
Wow. Sorry, you're saying 90% like it, right? And then of course, since then we have seen. I don't know if it did hit the breaker again today.
It halted again today.
And it's going even lower. So you think it's very much a reaction to that? Well, I did say as interrupted. I saw Duffy put her hand up, or Saint Duffy Noir. Sorry.
Lol,
Duffy, what's
Randy. Hi.
Big up Duffy, what's up? Happy New Year.
Hey. Happy New Year. Haven't seen you guys in a while. I wanted
Indeed.
to say something about what Phil was saying, the diversifying thing with 138 about going into things other than student housing. They don't have a choice. Okay, full disclaimer. I am just going based off what has sometimes made it into public
I'm not
knowledge.
hearing anybody else. Is anybody hearing me?
Yeah, Phil, we're hearing it. But Duffy, continue.
All right. The documents that there's sometimes that loose into public knowledge. I don't want anybody to look at me and think I work with them or anything like that. But they have they have a contract with UE for a certain amount of years. So they're more than likely approaching that time where they legally cannot provide student housing anymore. Like they were supposed to build up the place, and then after certain years and a certain amount of profit, they give everything back over to UE.
That's 65 years old.
65?
Yeah, man. No fears.
I thought it was a lot shorter than that.
No, man. No monkey contract them up, man. No fears, man. Imagine you build somebody in a 5 years, you give back. That's a madness.
No, sir. I know, so you go.
That's another thing. Like they keep changing certain things like retroactively. Like they have the power to do a lot of like renegotiation for them seems very easy or a little bit too easy in my eyes. Where it leads me to not have much faith in how the company is run. So that's part of the reason why I personally never liked the company and therefore never liked the stock.
Renegotiation seems easy.
Like they get to do I guess I don't know how much this would tie into the stock, but they get to do whatever they want a little bit too much. Like even if you look at, and I know the other day they had our furor with the residents, some student residents. If you look at the contracts, the leases that they have the students sign now versus something that started that they had out when they first got built, they get to do whatever they want without any real oversight. They get to, and it to me that would reflect in the APO. Like what do you mean?
What have they done?
Basically, it's just a series of them holding the handle and whoever else holding the blade type situations over and over, which is similar to what.
Well, I've seen the blade pointed at them in thing there, like how the UE itself has been a problem for them. And even renegotiated in what seemed like an unfavorable situation to them.
Oh well,
where you couldn't pay them money that was owed for however long.
That they signed a contract too.
And then the re-sign was, boy, okay, you will get a little more power in this situation in some ways. And
well, I can see that, but for me, we don't have to agree on it. But for overall, basically
it's there.
multi-billion-dollar housing development is a lot of leverage, I mean, it's kind of hard to. go back on a
What?
contract that you've made on the basis of a company that has spent billions of dollars to build this place.
And they tell them, so me not pay them. I mean,
Tell
you
them,
I understand why you couldn't pay them, but then them get them if just eat dirt, right? You
them,
get these all of them problems. Well, we all know between government and you how hard it is to get a bill out of get a bill paid, right?
yeah,
Between any of those two. So that has been an issue. Where you will say, boy, government not paying us, and then 138 say, boy, you will not pay we.
Yeah, but
but
I mean,
also
let me
But
let
you
me
never
let me.
felt like they knew that going into that situation.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely. But then we say
not.
this, but then wouldn't you go on the same side in your argument then if we do that?
Well,
And I figure you're
overall,
talking
to
about
me,
in the sense of their tenants. Their tenants hold the short end in the contract, you're saying, right? The
yeah, not
students not
only that,
really
it overall a lot of things that just how they're run, it doesn't seem they don't do things that would make me want to exercise good faith with them. So I'm overall not surprised about the APO situation.
oh.
Other than that, I just wanted to say hi and come off
I don't think
because I haven't been around
good to
in a
hear from you.
while.
Big
But
up,
yeah, I mean,
Duffy.
I can see that. If they have so much problems that you invest in them, and but I mean, imagine investing in a company and you say, boy, we can't get paid for 2 years. That is a big problem. So
Yeah,
I can see where you're coming from with that one.
that would be a hell of a problem. Are you hearing me, Danhai?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I wanted to say, let's not maybe Duffy's point too hard. I don't know if I understood it,
I know. I think I'm
because you're
trying to
saying that
understand.
138 really did hold a handle and does hold a handle in many a case. It would appear that way to me from the outside anyway, because of that same agreement that they have with UA. They had I think a revenue guarantee. Still have, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
90%
I mean
occupancy.
that's an example of where COVID was hitting. There weren't actually any students in the place, but
In the place.
there's that guarantee that if their occupancy falls below a certain level, UE has to make it up.
But would you say that's a bad thing for a company owner? No?
It's not
That's what I
necessarily
was trying to
bad.
understand. So I was asking if she meant in the case of the tenants, because in my mind, I can't see. I think a revenue guarantee sounds like a good thing. You get me?
Well, I think,
Yeah.
well, my assumption was that you're coming from the perspective of UE or the students, Duffy. I'm not sure.
That's what I felt.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's just the power of it. They have the power. They're one of the, well, I don't know how common it is, but they're in a really good position where they get to guarantee a lot of things for themselves and consistently make things that give me bad faith in them instead of using what they can to their advantage.
Advantage and still mess it up.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it.
Gotcha.
You are set up to win and you decide to lose. So I wasn't going to look at them anyway. So the APO thing doesn't surprise me.
That is fair. That's a fair point. A very fair point. And yeah.
Ouch.
But anywho, somebody else can get the space. I went jump off.
No
right,
problem,
boss.
Duffy.
Good
Thank
to
you
hear
very,
from you.
very much.
And really strong point. Because yeah, I mean, people have sounded great on rate, even myself, on the basis of all these things sound good for them. But then how often has it been a case where how often has it been a case where okay, the good thing is happening, right? Or the thing that we want, the thing that we expect to happen based on all the good things, it often has turned against them. So I see your point there, Luffy. Gotcha.
All right,
Yo, these orders in the bike are interesting, right?
Tell me. When you say interesting, what do you mean? In the bike you have 138.
Yeah, man, the bike you have it on your screen there. So orders 4 to 9.
Orders 4 to 9. Big up my money, JA, for helping us to see this very clearly, including the fact that it halted down to that $4. Wow. Orders 4 to 9, you say. So the 401.
It's like the person don't want to put 5,000 at the queue. It's like I don't want to put 5,000 orders. Orders at 5,000 each, 6 times. So I put 5,000 on one, then I put 4,999, and that's to get at 10,000. I put 5,002, then I put 4,998. That's together 10,000. I put 5,003, then I put 4,997. That's together 10,000. So,
So like is a maths brain or something? Is that OCD?
it's the strength of the buy, man.
You know that might be. Let me hear what do you think that could be?
I mean, the person does like numbers.
Okay. I see we also have I saw a couple of people send speaking requests. Lopo and Sir Piggles, and that's it.
Good.
They were talking
maybe
about this
maybe a true
also.
coincidence. 6 different people.
It could be. I have my own
Cool, man.
thoughts too.
Cool, man.
Good night.
One person that.
Healing morning, night, sir.
Morning, how you doing?
Hey, look, boss, what's up?
No, go on. It's a good, nice, fun week in the market.
Okay.
For you, local, for you.
For us all, why not? What is wrong? Have a chance to make another play at every time we have a chance to be in the market. So I think nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I would love to touch on one of the points you guys hit earlier with the conversation of it being shared in places that the APO is a great way to help illiquidity in a stock.
It is.
Yeah, it is. I'm not saying no. It's not the first place I heard that though. I think that was a big part of the narrative with the KP REIT APO saying that I remember in public dialogue with some leadership from KP REIT saying that we've explored different options and we did a rights issue before, and I think there was issues with it being taken up, and people who have the stock in a lot of our shareholders are long-term holders, not really interested in selling and interested in holding. So we have a lot.
That includes the people buying the APO. They
That
know that
price never dropped, though.
if you want to say that about the people that already own the stock, sure. But they want to ask for the public. Am I then assuming that the public? Am I then saying assuming that the public has these thoughts that anybody buying into this thing? I mean, I would hope so. If you're looking at an APO or whatever, I would hope so.
Yeah, I guess that was maybe not attitude. That was the narrative I felt was coming from that conversation. And I seen it already coming with 138. So, what do you guys think in terms of APO liquidity versus?
I've never heard in a business
What?
meeting where we're talking about the need for money, and then it comes up that our shares are illiquid. That's really a problem for us to solve. In the same vein of we need money. That's a shareholder problem. So when I hear that put forward as a reason that this is being done this way, what does that do for the business?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I would hope that whoever is saying it can answer. But the truth is, why is it a problem to solve? I mean, I'm sure there are good answers. I can give good answers. So bring more liquidity in. They have one of our shareholder base. More people can think that. Then maybe later down we can raise money easier, because it's not just the same. It's not just the same 3 people that own the stock, own 7, 8, or 90% of the stock we have to raise from if we're doing that, right? So bring the public in. If that's the thought, then sure. But I would hope that when you consider that, if the APO effect takes place, then you would hope that the people that are then coming forward and they buy more of the stock later down for whatever raise or whatever. Suppose they had a problem with whatever was done in the past and it's still there. And it's still a liquidity problem, because then you dilute on top of dilution.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a liquidity problem, I wouldn't be trying to exacerbate losing value for the people involved. My thing is, there's a logical understanding to me in my little novice brain about stocks, which is ownership. What do I own? How much do I own? What do I want from it? And those things have to have practical application. And my thing is, I don't know of liquidity not being. I think there's a lot of opportunity with liquidity being solved other ways that I don't know why that isn't a conversation if that was really being considered. I think Fast Rich became a way more liquid stock with doing a stock split before doing any version of the raises that they want to do, and believe other companies who, well, I mean, Salada did a stock split, and I actually haven't seen them action that into the raise as yet, but I think they made themselves more comfortable with doing it, and it kind of retains the value of shareholdership at the time. So I'd be interested to I think it would be an interesting ordeal to say maybe we need to see what happens if we kind of loosen up the shareholding with a stock split to make more shares available, and see what that does in the market without the dilution before I go to the dilution. Well, I guess
I think the truth is that it has nothing to do with liquidity. Just say you want to raise money and go buy a business. Or you tell them about liquidity. Why the shareholder participation and all those nice fancy things? What's the point of that? In this thing where you're raising money, what's the benefit for anybody? That, you get to bring the public in. Like, tell me the actual benefit there. I've yet to hear it. If the most I've ever heard, which is not that, it's we want to open up our options for getting money. So we're not going to ask just our shareholders. We're going to ask everybody for money. That sounds like, better you said that, because then that sounds like a real case of, all right, cool, we're not so sure we get this money. Whoever tell me how to get money, never really tell me, say, there's a possibility outside of this, or maybe I don't know this thing. So when I was talking, whatever, I realized that my shareholder base is this, and if I'm going to raise money on the market, then in my mind, I want to put my thing to more people. So again, you shop more widely, so you end up with more customers, something like that. Then better say that. That sounds like okay. That's something logical to the raise. But then you talk about liquidity and shares moving and who owns. What have to do with this?
Yeah.
So if it's how often shares move or thing there, how liquid the stock is, then if you tell me about you want a wider net, then better say that.
Well, I've also seen dialogue to say that the pricing of the offer will matter, which I definitely agree. But I kind of...
I've heard that more than once over different places, and the pricing of the APO is where the issue of the price comes in. I agree. I don't fully agree on that. I don't agree on that one. I think the issue with APOs has not been a pricing issue. Is actually the liquidity issue. We give a lot of people shares, and those people are then incentivized. We got a lot of people shares in a way that at announcement they're incentivized to sell, and then now they own a lot, and because it was such a wide participation, then the shares on the market are no longer viewed as as we call it, as desirable, because we just get a bag of shares in this new thing. So
exactly that.
Where is the market for buyers? There's not any, because everybody was buying. Go buy on the APO. So when it's time to sell, what happens?
That's kind of what I was thinking on the line of, even in the line of agreement, is that the valuation in terms of price is not just what pricing the offer is, it is all of the ramifications of the market. Like, you have to, the pricing cannot just be based off of a fundamental metric. It has to be...
I mean, I get it, boy, stop using that word like that. The idea that well, I mean, it's funny because in every financial conversation, we know that liquidity does have something to do with the value. It's why we talk about, again, demand and supply. That's liquidity.
Right.
Availability of something. So if we then look at that and then decide that availability no longer matters in a conversation because the balance sheet and the value of the assets or the level of profits that they think there, that doesn't make sense. It really cannot, because then you ignore every other thing in finance or every other thing in economics that points to those things as being material and fundamental for evaluation.
Agreed. I agree. That's why I didn't want to touch upon it. Me
But,
but yeah, man, good convo. We can go and bounce it around.
then so you're now saying that you're blaming the implementation and not the mechanism? What can you just confirm or
I'm
deny?
not sure what you mean. Oh, no. Sorry, officer. Explain that one a bit better.
No, so it's not necessarily the APO, but the implementation of said APO that is the problem.
I mean, show me an APO. I mean,
you can tell from his tone that all him trying to do is give trouble.
you see me?
Yeah.
Troublemaker.
Maybe you have an APO where you also want share.
No, hold on. I'll say it's the mechanism is called a dilutive secondary offer, and the mechanism is the problem. Dilutive
I
secondary
see.
offers are destructive to share prices on markets
Shareholder
all
value.
around the world. They
Well,
are
all right,
looked down
but
upon.
Randy, I
Hold
don't have
on. They're
a
looked down
okay, sorry.
upon. Say that again.
I don't have the MMGA my money market, so I can't find examples. So can you just tell me an example? Stop.
Please stop.
Because in fact, you
I
just said the word
noticed.
APO. There are examples.
But let's have a nice little change of pace. Actually, I noticed Sir Dino Hines has joined us on the space, and I
Indeed.
think it's a great opportunity to
A
talk
man
to
doing
him.
big things.
Yeah, and Dino Hines, for the people who don't know, is I don't want to get it wrong, Sir Dino, so correct me if I get it wrong, but I believe he's CEO of MFS Capital Partners, and that is squarely in line with that's a company that is squarely in line with our topic this evening, which is the Rebirth is a company that is I think maybe in its early stages of its own rebirth. And I think it's great that we get a chance to talk to him. Thank you for joining us. Dino, you can hear us?
What's up?
Yeah, man. Good night, guys. I hear you clear, loud and clear.
All right, wonderful. Welcome to BrickTalk, Dino. And in case you don't, I don't know if it's your first time listening, but it's literally just a conversation, a regular conversation. So you feel free to weigh in with all of your points. Don't be surprised if people come in and they have questions or points they want to make or so on. So yeah, it's a chat. Think of it like a nice little group chat.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm joining the forum. It has been very interesting so far. Now that I know about the forum, I'll definitely be joining a lot more. I won't try to hog the conversation too much, but definitely if there are questions or I might pop in with a little comment here and there, just to give my perspective on some of the topics that we're talking about. Early it would, especially with some of the, and most of my comments probably won't be, well, I'll answer questions if participants have questions re MFS. Most of my comments will be mostly on other companies that, or I might ask a couple of questions. Like, for example, I wanted to know in your earlier conversation about companies which are bouncing back after the pandemic, what you guys think about everything fresh.
Dino, you know what I like? I think you're maybe one of the few CEOs who joined the conversation and asking about like stocks on the market.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's because my background and the areas which I play in and which I enjoy playing in, which is financial assets, stocks, bonds, corporate paper. So I really love that space. So I will be interested in anything to do with the financial markets. I'll have an interest.
Okay. All right. Big up. Well, you know what? I don't want it to be lost. So you ask a question. So you say what we think about
everything fresh.
Everything
after the
fresh.
pandemic.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Everything fresh. I think, in my view, as my personal view, I think they were not necessarily in the best state before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if they use the pandemic to get as strong as I think that they probably should get.
Should have, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm biased in that I'm comparing them. I don't know if I'm biased. I'm
CPJ.
comparing them to CPJ, which is leagues ahead of them. It would appear. He's just looking at the financials, leagues ahead of everything fresh. And they are competitors, right? But everything fresh itself. I mean, should investors know that the thing that is often great doesn't always seem great at first, which again, right on target with our conversation tonight, because I said to Danhai all the time that it's when a company is bad that the opportunity really is there. Because if you get in when it becomes great and everybody know that it's great, you're gonna get the same returns as everybody else. The real gem, I think, is to find the thing before it becomes great. But when you're seeing the signs that it is going to become great, everything
The
fresh.
actual risk.
Yeah, man. Everything fresh to me looked like it started to get a little bit better underneath the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, they were doing some reworking. I remember they bought an abattoir, but that didn't seem to last very long. And what else did they buy? They bought something
Some
else.
Barbados? Was it Barbados?
I think Everything Fresh Bahamas Limited.
Bahamas.
Yeah, but in terms of the bottom line, I mean, they still look like they have some ways to go. But to their credit, the last quarter that they reported to us, the third quarter, it was a profitable quarter, as have been all the quarters this year, first, second, and third, and they are actually at this point at least looking at a 40 million profit, which would be the first time since their 2018 financial year that they would have made a profit. If they can if they finish the year in the same fashion. So from what I'm saying, to me it becomes attractive, and I'm being very careful with that word. To me, it becomes attractive in the way that I find things that are not yet good attractive, because it is the process of getting them from less attractive to good that you find the profit, right? Which you yourself would know, Dino, having taken an entity that was in a bad state, a shell, essentially, going through it, and bringing it to a point now where we're seeing. I know you can't say much about it, so I'll be careful what I ask, but where we're seeing a lot more hope for the thing. Let's say that. Up to the last quarter report, I saw new revenue lines coming in. I thought that was very, very good. And a nice profit, 5 million, and a wonderful set of financials on time, no delays, and acquisitions being spoken of. That to me looks like the diamond in the rough coming a little bit out of the rough, right? Being a little bit more obvious to people now.
So more polish.
Yeah, so it's a long answer to your question, but I like everything fresh only on the basis that it is something that I think is showing the signs of improving, but I wouldn't say as clearly. I don't have any money in it, and I'm not necessarily rushing to put any money in there now, but that's how I feel about everything fresh. How do you feel about everything fresh, Dino?
Well, I think they have a good opportunity, especially given the area they're in. You compare them to CPJ, which is a good comparison. CPJ, much larger, stronger company with more areas and revenue lines and so on. But a fair comparison because they're both playing in the tourism sector. I think the only thing, in my opinion, the only thing that will make them not successful going forward is if they have bad management and make bad management decision. But it's an area that is dominated by two companies, them and CPJ, and with tourism bouncing back so strongly, the company has an opportunity to grow and to do well. So I guess we just have to watch to see the kind of management decisions that are being made from quarter to quarter to make a decision to think it will be a good story going forward.
All right, I like that. Why did you pick that one out of all the 100 odd stocks on the market to ask?
Well, I mean, it's a company that I've been looking at over a period of time because I think having it based on it, certain companies are what I guess you would say they are kind of I don't know if tangential is the right term, but there are certain companies which, if you're playing in the financial sector, especially in the foreign exchange market, you take a look at them because their fortunes will move in relation to tourism and inflows of FX into the country. So you're looking at companies like Everything Fresh and CPJ, which are direct contributors to the tourism sector. You're looking maybe sometimes at Lasco and the financial arm of Grace Kennedy in terms of Western Union and so on, which are remittances, which is one of the largest contributor of foreign exchange. So we do take a look at them sometimes to kind of, when we're looking at what is happening on the FX side, to see if there will be flow through to these companies and how it will benefit their bottom line and whether or not it is time to take a look at taking a stake in them.
Mm. Oh, so you're looking at it from the perspective of buying in, possibly
Right,
buying in.
right.
Okay, as in you personally?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that before people say that, you're talking about MFS. And of
No,
course,
no, I can't make announcements about
Oh no,
MFS.
man.
yeah.
But I mean, just to add a little bit. I mean, MFS, the first acquisition we announced,
Mhm.
which does is a very active participant in the foreign exchange market. And of course, we just waiting on most the company is a regulated company, so of course we have to just ensure that we dot our I's, cross our T's, get a regulator approval, which shouldn't be a problem.
Mhm.
All directors are fit and proper, so it should not be a problem. But it's an area, foreign exchange trading, I mean trading of all financial assets are areas that I think personally boutique financial houses in Jamaica, there's a strategy that you can employ. And we look at international companies like Cantor Fitzgerald, for example, a company in the United States, which when you look at their volumes annually in terms of trading in US government treasuries and all of these things, relatively to the larger institutions, their volumes are really high because they make a concerted effort to look at just very low risk to your balance sheet in terms of doing back-to-back trades, where you're just really matching a transaction, getting a trading gain on it, whether it is foreign exchange, whether it is bonds, any asset like that, just being market makers on a daily basis and making profits, and using your assets on your balance sheet for other investment type products. So we believe in that kind of strategy, and it's a strategy we think that is not fully built out or fully exploited by any financial institution in Jamaica. So it's a space that we think strongly that we can, be big players in.
Wow. Okay. So that really simplify that for the people that don't get it. And you say a bunch of interesting things there that I don't even know which one to start with. One, you point out the fact that you're actually active in the foreign exchange market. You said that the entity that you're acquiring is active in the foreign exchange market.
Yes. So mhm.
No,
Yeah,
as
but
you say, I don't want to knock in at the forex traders, but you're the real forex traders, meaning the active local forex market, right? You're not
right. We're not talking about
Trading futures.
international trading where you're basically doing margin trading. That's a different type of trading and a different type of risk altogether, right? So I mean, nothing wrong with that, and we can do that. We do have skill sets in our company that we can do that, but we're not looking to that right now. We think that in the local foreign exchange market, in terms of finding earners of foreign exchange and matching that with end users of foreign exchange, there is a big opportunity there for us to take market share from some of the larger players who, probably get a little fat and comfortable. And, we think that that's an area that we still have a lot of opportunity in. So it's an area that we think our market share will grow significantly as our company grow over the next couple of years.
It's an angle I haven't heard anybody talk about, and the fact that you call yourself a boutique financial, a boutique financial house now, I think is extremely interesting. And that's how you see yourself and the team at MFS as, right? You guys are offering boutique services. That's the plan going forward. I must tell you, I should tell you, Danhai and I privately talk about this. Even though you guys have put out very clear timelines for the acquisition and the fact that you're acquiring it, I think a lot of the things that have been, I think it's almost been missed, because last year, especially the end of last year, was so exciting, and this year, of course, at the start of the year, it's still kind of exciting, but I think people have missed the fact that what you said is something very, very clear and simple, that you guys have an acquisition, and you're telling us that the thing that you're acquiring is not a new company, it's something that's already doing business and doing business in an area that you think that you guys can grow. And it sounds to me like take over that niche or define a new niche.
Yeah, because as we indicated, we're not, the company used to play in the startup. We're not really interested in that area. Not saying that in the future, if we should look at that, we will do that in a totally different company, right? Not a listed company. We think that in terms of a startup, those companies need time to grow, and I don't think you want to do that in the spotlight of a listed company.
Why?
Right? Huh?
Why?
I mean, you remember, as a listed company, you're accountable to your shareholders. You have to more or less be providing, quarterly, annual updates where you want to see, shareholders want to see increase in value, increase in returns. So some of the startups, you want to give them time to be able to trial and error, to not make profits, to come along slowly, and then if necessary, you bring them to market, or you bring them into a private equity space at a later stage of their development. That's my personal perspective. I'm not saying another investor, another company would not or could not see it differently and bring it another way. But especially for a company like ours, which, realistically speaking, has in its earlier life, for want of a better word, had a very bad run. At this time, you want the company to start to have some wins. So we're not really interested in adding any startup companies, at this time. As I say, in the future, we could change that approach if, as a team, if our stakeholders think it's time that we can start doing that. But for now, we're looking to add fast-growing companies to our set of portfolio companies, so that the company within a year can start to show strong growth, strong returns, and that's really what we're looking at now.
All right. I like that. I like that. So you're not limiting yourself to what was there before, but you're growing in the areas that you know that you're good at, and so pretty much, I mean, that's nice. Like you're coming from somewhere bad, but you turn it into something good, and you're using the strengths that you have to grow even better. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I excited. I don't even know which question to ask. In fact, I don't want to keep the questions to myself. I know a lot of people who are joining might have any questions. I see Robbie Larson just sent a speaking request. I grade Cliff. Cliff, what's up? What are you doing? You have a question for me, or you have a question for Danhai, or
Dino.
Dino himself?
Yeah, man, I have a question for Dino because I think I don't want to
We're
accidentally.
hardly hearing you. You can.
I'm not hearing him much, Cliff.
Man, you hear no better
I hear
now?
myself. I hear myself on your side better than hearing you.
Oh, and and the better?
Mm-mm.
No.
Try one more time, Cliff. Let me see. Let me mute everybody and unmute.
Yeah, you hearing me now?
No,
No. Damn.
we're still hearing ourselves better.
All right, let me jump off and then try come back on.
Okay.
All right.
If I don't know if in the meantime anybody else, Dr. Bill, Sir Pickles, Lopo, you guys have any questions?
Um, good day, Sir Hines.
Boy, I'm gonna ask him about fiscal.
I'm the guest man. They call me the guest man, But if I was a prospective, I want to get involved with your company. Is there anything in the pipeline you think that would attract new stakeholders or new stockholders to your company? Anything that you want to tell us that might pique our interest as persons in the market?
Well, I think he just said a lot that wouldn't.
Oh
Yeah.
man, well, let me not say. We put it this way then.
Sorry, I don't. You hearing me?
We're hearing you now. Yeah, man.
Hearing
Hear
him
you
now.
loud and clear.
Right. So you know that beyond the announcement that we have made, the announcements we have made so far, I can't make any specific announcements. That's why you see I'm speaking. Most of what I'm speaking about is specifically to do with the acquisition that we have announced. But we have also stated that we have other companies in the pipeline that we're working on, and there are others which are close to signing off on. So one of the things about the journey that we have gone on last year and announcing ourselves to the market, announcing ourselves to the market, and announcing that we're in the private equity space is that there's no shortage of deals that are coming our way. There's not, persons are coming to a daily basis, almost putting proposals, looking for private equity investments, and we just have to ensure that we're doing our due diligence and ensuring that we're making the right choices as it relates to potential acquisitions. But I can tell you that you asked if there's anything exciting that is coming. I mean, every acquisition that we'll be doing, we believe is exciting, and we believe will bring significant value to our company.
Oh, okay. And there's a follow-up question, just to make sure I wasn't misunderstood. Speaking of right choices and additional corporate actions, how do you feel about rights issues versus APO?
How do I feel about what?
A right issue versus an APO for your company.
That's one. If I answer that question, I believe it could be interpretive. Let me just say that that I think that you're as an institution, right? You have to listen to your investors, and That's one of the things that we intend to do. I think that's the best answer I can give to that. So we have heard, I won't tell you what they have been telling us, but we have heard what they have been saying, and we are listening, and we intend to take their advice.
All right.
I thank you for your kindness, sir.
Yeah.
So you not asking me no guess at all.
Oh,
You not asking what I think about Fesco.
no, no, before about that one. It's not about this. Give somebody such a chance.
Yo, what the hell is that echo? Hello? Pickles?
I was echoing, so I was giving somebody such a chance.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. It's your echo. No problem.
Okay.
All right, boss. Much respect.
Much respect. I thank you, Dina, for navigating that answer very well. Let me just
Very
remind
skillfully.
people.
Very well.
Yeah, man. Let me just remind people that as happy as we are to have him join the space, uh, he's still running a listed company, so he can't actually say certain things. But just in case anybody didn't hear what he said, I'll repeat it. He said that he and his team listen. I'm paraphrasing, but they listen to shareholders, and they intend to continue to listen to their shareholders. Yeah, and I've only heard, at least from the perspective, speaking from the perspective of retail shareholders, myself also being a retail shareholder, I haven't haven't really heard any retail shareholders asking for anything other than a rights issue. I know I am loud about the rights issues, so I won't put Dino on the spot to answer it, but I'm happy that he said that he's listening to shareholders. I think that's probably the best answer without crossing any lines. Sound good, Dino? Make sense?
Yes, definitely.
All right, perfect. And also that I should add something I think a lot of people don't know. So like I said, I think just because a lot of the noise that has happened in the space, this is a company that has actually come out and said that they're acquiring another company. And I think along the way it's gotten lost. So, Dino, just to make it ultra clear for everybody, your company, MFS Capital Partners, which is the listed company, is acquiring another company.
Yes, we're acquiring microfinancing solutions. As we indicated in our release, the company is regulated by Bank of Jamaica, so therefore we've paid foreign exchange based on our Cambia license. We are sub-agents for both MoneyGram and Western Union. We also do bill payment. So we do all money services, products and services to our clients. And we have locations across Kingston, and the company is actually looking to add more locations. So I mean, before the end of this year, we should be up to maybe 5 locations.
And what do they do? What do you do at the location? Just to be clear, what does that company do?
Foreign exchange trading and remittances and bill payments. We exited the microloan space, and we're going into private credit.
That's smart. So
yeah,
and you did that. Why would you choose that? Because I know the microloan space now is hot, but it's I won't say it's cooling, but obviously there are a lot of smaller players that are coming out of that space because they can't go through the trouble of getting through the BOJ's rigorous process. But I think you said that company is already licensed by the BOJ, right?
yes, it's already regulated by the BOJ. So it wasn't a situation where we were looking at where had nothing to do with going through the process of applying. It was more from a strategic perspective where we're looking at how can you grow your balance sheet quicker but safer, right? So the microloan space has done well. It has done well in Jamaica, and no doubt it did very well for microfinancing solutions, which started out that was the first and only product it started with before growing into the other product line which I mentioned. But the space, it's an area which it's when we have looked at the players in the sector, and we have looked at hold on guys, hold on.
No problem. Dina getting a call right now. All right, so while he take that call, he'll unmute once. Okay, you can hear us?
Yeah, man, I hear it. Sorry, a call just came in
Okay, yeah.
on the phone, so that's why I chipped out for a little bit. So I was saying that when we look at like a Cygnus, I know quickly they were able to grow their balance sheet, and these loans are unlike micro lending, which is unsecured, harder to administer, higher risk. Private credit, comes with more secure lending, so it's less risky, and also, you're giving larger loans, so you're able to grow your balance sheet at a much faster pace. So we think that it's an area that we would want to get into right now.
That's smart. So you're still doing the debt, but you're doing the debt along lines that make a bit more sense. If I remember correctly, in the last set of results that we saw from MFS, you actually mentioned the new line of business being receivables financing. So that's along that exact line, right?
Yes, that's along that line. That's the area that we think present a lot of growth opportunity for the company, and it's less saturated, it's less jam packed, it's easier to administer because unlike micro lending. So we are looking to grow an organization. As I mentioned, the international models that we'll look at in terms of building out our strategy. So we're looking to build an organization that has strong internal controls, but doesn't require a lot of admin or a lot of back office overhead. So therefore, you don't have to have a million staff to run $100 billion company if we get to that level, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of our strategy and how we choose the different product areas that we want to get into. So overall, I've been around for many years in terms of the financial markets, the financial sector, a lot of experience in the commercial banking space, investment banking space. There's a whole heap of different ways to make money, right? You just have to, as a company, choose the areas that you think, is best suited for the company, that your overall team is strong in, and you try and hit those out the park. Right, so we're not trying to be all things to all people. We're just trying to do the things that we do excellently and grow the business to a level. Any company that we're going to, we want to ensure that they have strong management, strong leadership, strong controls. We just come in and add our expertise to it, and add strong corporate governance to these companies, and ensure that we're always looking to preserve and protect shareholder value.
So make a good answer to me.
That makes perfect sense to me. I like that. So you're not trying to. I mean, that's how companies get massive, right? They don't get massive overnight. Slow and steady is how you do it, and you concentrate your efforts in the areas that you have a hell of an advantage in.
Yes.
So yeah, to put it to people in a keen way, a clear way. I didn't realize that the notice had actually said it. Reading the notice, so the company is a sub-agent of MoneyGram and Western Union.
Yes, and we're one of the very first company in Jamaica, and we're not the first, but we're one of the very first companies in Jamaica to actually offer both are the two leading remittance products to the market, right? And it was simple as us just asking, right? So first we were just on the MoneyGram, and we just reached out to Western Union and said, "Do you mind, sharing a space with MoneyGram?" And they said no. They come, they view our facility, and they decide to. And I can tell you this: we have, in terms of money shops in Jamaica, our New Kingston money shop is one of the best in terms of setup, in terms of service, in terms of parking, all of these things. I mean, I guess I given a free ad.
It's
A
all
free
right.
ad
It's all
here,
right.
but
I won't charge you
yeah,
extra. That's
but
cool.
I mean, and that's the model that we want to replicate, across Jamaica. So you go into certain places, and it's the lines, the environment, and so on. You don't feel comfortable collecting there,
You are
but
safe.
that's
Yeah.
safe. But our environment is top tier, and it's something that I don't like. I said, I have other things in terms of, even for this specific acquisition, that we haven't announced yet to the market. So I don't want to say too much, but
Mm-hmm.
there are ways that we're looking to add additional products to the company post acquisition. We're working on those behind the background, in terms of some international relationships that we're looking to bring. So you know, I guess I'll sign off by saying we don't plan to be sub agents forever. So people can.
Word.
Yeah.
Love that.
Word.
Cha-cha.
I like that. And that's a company that is being acquired. How much of the company are you acquiring? Just to remind people.
So I'm 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a nice it's becoming, so MFS is becoming truly MFS.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
And
And
They're
yeah,
becoming the MFS. So MFS and
yeah.
MFS come together. All right.
yeah, and I mean, guys, like I said, we have other pipeline acquisitions. We're working on them. We're just landing this one first. But I mean, another we expect that another announcement will follow shortly. And I mean, for those persons who are new to to I mean to myself and to the whole MFS branding, you can just
Mhm.
look back at a couple of things that we have said in the past, a couple of articles that were done maybe in like a 2017, to see some of the things that we said we were going to achieve and what we wanted to become, and you'll get a roadmap as to where we are going um, in short order.
What year did you say? Like 2017?
Like about 2017, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That sounds very,
That
very,
sounds
very
beautiful.
specific. That sounds very, very, very specific. Immediately we
Indeed,
push
right?
start.
Like you want to
Yeah.
know it. It's like 10 yeah, man.
Yeah,
Surprised him to give
man.
you the month and the date, right, Andy?
No,
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 which
because I mean, I remember like in about 2016, and sometimes it just reminds me like when I left I left high school, and I got my first job in a bank, and I walk in the day and I sat down and I said, in 5 years I'm going to be the general manager. It never happened, but so I said that to say that sometimes you outline a strategy, and it will take a little longer than you expect, but doesn't mean that you're not going to achieve it. So some of the things that was set out to be, so if you look at, like, for example, microfinancing solutions website, you will see where from we created the website a long ago. We said that our intention was to become a boutique full service investment house, and the premier investment and private equity firm in the Caribbean. So that was our objective from way back then, when we first created our website. And we think that we know that we're going to be that, right? So we're not planning to just be a Jamaican firm. We know that we intend to be a Caribbean firm, and we
okay.
think that a lot of firms, I think what we are looking to do, I think a lot of the larger firms which have already established a large presence in terms of brick and mortar, in terms of the reach, in terms of their retail spread and so on. We think a lot of those larger firms, if they did not invest in that over the years, then a boutique investment house which uses technology and so on to reach its target clients and so on would be the strategy that a lot of them would follow, because you will see a couple of years ago I worked at one of the dominant investment house in Jamaica, and when we did an analysis, right? So we did an analysis back then, and when you looked at the analysis, right, if you strip out the entire retail section at the firm, the total revenues would fall, but the net profit would increase, right? Because the retail, a lot of persons don't realize and understand that being a large retail institution come with a whole heap of overhead, a whole heap of cost, a whole heap of structure. That's why you see companies like NCB, Scotiabank over the last few years have been closing a lot of branches because of the cost associated with running these things, and technology don't need to do that anymore, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that, so then I just step off, but that's one of the things that I realized, that you're hitting the competition with pretty heavily, meaning your footprint is smaller, yet you're able to effectively give the same level of service that people would want. So as a result, your margins naturally would be bigger, right? If both of us getting $10, but it costs me $7 to get the $10, it only costs you $2 to get the $10. Your profit is naturally bigger.
Yeah, that's correct. And if, for example, if you look into, for example, let's look at one of the products, right? Foreign exchange trading, for example. You don't need a branch in Montego Bay to have 50 clients in Montego Bay. You send 2 staff members to Montego Bay for a week, you put them up in a hotel, they reach out to all of these clients, they establish the relationship with the onboard the client, and after that, when the client want to sell foreign exchange, they just call you and you give them your wire instructions. They give you their Jamaican dollar instructions and you just do the transaction. Right?
So you plan to lead heavily on tech.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. I like that. On that point though, I do like that Microfinancing Solutions has a website, a nice website that shows, the rates and the services and so on, microfinancingsolutions.com. But I got a message saying I should ask you about MFS Capital Markets. Not Capital Markets, MFS Cap Limited. Because that website we haven't seen go live just yet. So
Oh yeah, I mean, before the end of the month it will be live. We had engaged the services of a technician to bring it up for us, and I think I was encountering some challenges, but it will be live shortly because it's a requirement for most of it. So we're fixing that. So like I said, I don't want. I guess even though I said it, I didn't want to have the entire conversation. I ended up doing that.
I don't think anybody minds it. But I know you've been doing the interview run, I'm sure, for a good little while now. I should ask you this, because always, you get asked questions. If you could be asked questions, what's the question that you've always wanted to be asked in an interview?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think a lot of persons will ask questions, especially when they're doing interviews. A lot of persons ask questions in terms of revenues, in terms of your plans and so on. But based on the current environment, what I want persons to ask me about and to speak a lot about, and I'm hoping that I'll do a forum on it soon, is in terms of internal controls and your corporate, your operations and so on. So and why it's interesting to me is that because for the first half of my financial life, I was a back office person, working in back office, working in controls. So any organization that I am a part of, I always ensure that it has strong internal control. So even at where I am at now, we ensure that every transaction, every deal, everything has that as a situation where it's a dual approval process. It's not no one person can't do certain transaction, can't move monies in a particular way. You have to ensure that your reconciliations are on point. So it's a topic that I would love to kind of sit down one day and present to an audience on, and to I guess it's not something that it's easily that you can easily vet an organization on. So I guess that's why persons have gotten so scared in terms of their investment dollars and so on. Because you can't go to Scotia or any of these companies and say, hey, let me see your policies and procedures, right?
Not
So I
easily.
guess you just have
Yeah.
to trust the fate of the organization. But it's one of the thing where if you're not on point with it, it can bring down your company. And you can look at a lot of the greatest. I can't remember that fraud now that happened at this company in Europe, where the guy was both on the initiating and the approving side. I remember it. I'll tell you guys about it one day. But that is one of the things where you have to ensure that you put in the infrastructure work and you spend the money and ensure that your controls are there and that your compliance function is really strong.
Wow. That's not what I'd expect to hear. You want to talk about that light that you're talking about that.
Yeah,
And
that's
one thing we know. No, so Danhai also is from that side.
It's notorious for the business side to not want to talk about that. So it's pretty thing that pretty big that the business side is talking about, wants to talk about that. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, because you have to what
Balance.
has happened has shaken the confidence of the investing market. So it's important that you try and bring back that, and you try that the persons need to understand that if you really dig down deep into it, based on what we have seen so far, we don't know what else will come up, but what you have seen so far shows that it's a failure of the internal controls in the organization, because one employee is not supposed to be able to get instructions from a client, and another person in the back office doesn't directly verify with the client that they in fact did send the instructions. That's a simple control mechanism that should be in every organization.
All right, I love that. I'm hearing that from you, and I think it's a good sign, especially because as you say, you cut your teeth in the back office earlier, and the company you're acquiring is under the BOJ, and we know the BOJ don't play when it comes to their controls. Yeah, man. And the fact that you've gotten and maintained all of those licenses from the BOJ, I think is a great point, because now, well, we're at the point now where BOJ is going to be the one running everything and overseeing everything. Yeah, and that I think is a testament to how strong the BOJ has been on control. So I am happy to hear you say that. I really never expected you to say that, actually. I'm properly surprised. That's the thing that you'd love to talk about. Wow. So you mentioned that you're at a couple of places. Where have you been? If you can say, if you want to say. Or what have you done in the past? Because I don't think people really know much about you. Like what?
Well, I mean, I was head of treasury at First Global Bank for a little bit. I was senior vice president at Mayberry for treasury trading and asset management. Those are my two most recent appointment before going on becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay. What's your favorite? Everybody have a little part. Everybody in finance have a
Yeah,
little
wait.
part of finance that them really
You
like.
love.
What's your favorite thing?
Well, let me tell you, I do love the whole aspect of treasury management because, starting out as a trader, and when you're trading an asset class, your focus is on that asset class, right? So therefore, you're looking, for example, at um, maybe, the equities and, what are the fundamentals or technical analysis for the equities? Are you looking at FX? Are you looking at the fundamentals and technicals for your FX market? But, when you're the treasurer and you're in charge of all the traders and all the asset class and you're able to see, the actual flow of money and, where the flows are going and also, taking into account interest rates and, doing your gap analysis, I think it helps you to make better decision in terms of trading all the asset class. So the trader will can have a more short-term view because he's
Hmm.
seeing what is happening on the day or the week and so on. But when you're the treasurer now, you kind of get so I love um being in charge of the entire treasury management aspect of the organization, being
I think
able to, yeah,
well, that just a lot of people that listen don't really know finance. So a lot of non-finance people listen. Pretty much that's the control of the money for the entire, let's say a company
The whole machine.
yeah.
right,
So like if it was a bank and like Dino said, two people in the bank might work in just foreign exchange, but the head of the money for the bank has to think about the overall picture, which is why sometimes you might see them making decisions that from a limited perspective don't seem like it makes sense, but they're
Mm-hmm.
seeing a much wider thing. So you like the macro view.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an era where you realize that almost all the financial institutions in Jamaica, the treasurer actually is in charge of the trading team.
Mm-hmm.
So all the traders and so on will report to the treasurer because he has that global view. He's the one that, if it is that, for example, just to give a quick example, if, for example, it's good to go long US dollar, right?
Hmm.
Because the Jamaican dollar devaluing, so you want to buy up some US dollar. But the Jamaican dollar money market trader is short and don't have no money. The treasurer have to override the FX trader and say, no, you have to, even though you're going to make a loss, you have to sell because we need Jamaican dollars. We need to cover our position. So, it's some of those decisions, as you said, that persons will see maybe one side and say, that don't make no sense. But, when you're looking at the global picture, you realize, and it's also that person who other persons in the organization have to come to. For example, they had a credit, for example, might want to disperse a loan for $1 billion, say at 6%, because he really want to grow his loan book. That's his
Hmm.
that's his mandate. He has to grow his loan portfolio. The bank tell him say he need to, grow the loan portfolio by X percentage, right? So he come and them go to a company and the company say, yeah, me borrow $1 billion from you, but we want to do it at 6%. The treasurer will say, no, but give you, why would I approve you giving a loan at 6% when the risk-free rate, which is the treasury bill or the BOJ for some persons, is at 8%. It don't make no sense. Because you're giving out a riskier loan to a corporate when the government will pay you 8% on a CD, or the
Mm-hmm.
treasury bill yield is at 9%. So the treasurer, is the one who also will set your loan rates and so on. So it's an era where, for young bankers, young persons who want to grow in the sector, it's an area that person should aspire to want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. I see we have Alexa. Alexa who joined us. Alexa Dana. The wealth not the
What's
health.
good?
Yeah, the wealth not.
Well,
I
no.
like that.
Hi, good night, everybody. Night, Mr. Harris.
Evening.
What?
I just had a
We're
Boy, I
barely
think you have the
hearing
same
you.
problem as Cliff. We can barely hear you.
using my headphones. Hold on. Any better?
Say it's a banger.
I'm not even going to joke about that. No. Am I in a louder? Give yourself?
Not really.
Not really, but we can hear you. We can make
All
it.
right.
What's
You
Well,
up?
want to just use the phone directly?
yeah. Well, I typed my first question in the chat. I don't know if you could read it while I deal with the audio. I was just asking
Okay.
about the real estate activity of MFS, which I know Mr. Hines had spoken about some time before. Wondering if he can share.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Dina, I don't know if you heard her. She's asking about the real
Real
estate
estate
side
asset.
of things. Because you'd spoken about that earlier, I guess earlier in the whole takeover process. Is what
Yeah.
you mean, right, Alexa?
Yes.
Right. I think we did say yes that our core areas of interest are money services, investment banking, and real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have pipeline acquisitions that we're looking at, which in that are in that space. I mean, if you want me to, I don't have nothing to announce in terms of MFS Capital Partners in terms of real estate, of course, really I couldn't do that. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of our private companies, I mean, I can just tell you that we have already acquired significant amount of real estate in terms of just acquiring them, and we're looking to move to the next phase in terms of those assets before the end of this year in terms of starting development of at least one of the lands, the parcel lands that we have acquired.
Also, it's undeveloped land you have right now.
Right, we have undeveloped land. We have land that is we think they are very attractive in very attractive areas and so on. And like I said, guys, this is not in the public companies, private companies.
Yeah, man.
That's fine. That's fine.
That we have acquired. We have acquired in total, we have acquired close to 50 acres across Jamaica already. And these are prime properties that are already zoned for residential. So we just need to, as I said, we would need to get our architectural drawings done, get our approval from the various parish councils and so on before we can start building. But we're hoping that at least one of them we should break ground before the start of the year, before the end of the year. And of course, we're going to make a lot of noise about it when we break ground.
Okay.
Indeed.
We're looking forward to that then. Alex, I hope you heard that. I hope it was
Yes.
good.
I had one other question, if I may.
Yeah, man, go ahead. No problem.
Again, some time ago, you talked about, well, you kind of said that earlier in BrickTalk, where you're more interested in acquiring. But I think some time ago you had mentioned like some interest outside of Jamaica. I was just wondering how that was going. I think you said something about Barbados and Guyana. If you can share.
Yeah, we can share to some extent. Yeah, we have not signed off on anything in either country, but we're still going through the process in terms of due diligence. We have not myself, but a member of our team visited Guyana late last year. We made a lot of connections there. We have been having back and forth conversation. We think another visit is necessary in short order for us to kind of tie up something. So we're planning to do that maybe before the end of March to do another visit. Because like I said, we did one visit late last year. We have been having telephone conversations with two potential partnerships in Guyana. And we think another visit might be necessary for us to be able to sign off something.
Thank you.
right, and thank you, Sir Dino. Safe trip. I hope that's a very fruitful trip.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Alrighty.
we have been. I
Oh,
mean, we're looking at. You see, one of the things is that you have to. I mean, there are certain areas in Guyana and certain not even non-financial sector areas that are really attractive because, for example, we have been having some conversations with a party that's in mining that has a whole heap of permits and land, has the permit, has the land, but need mining equipment. So, he came to us looking debt financing, we talked to him and say, hey, maybe equity funding would be a better strategy. So, the opportunity is there because you have to look down the road and see what Guyana is going to need. So with the economy growing so fast and a lot of expatriates and so on moving to Guyana, the housing market will be picking up, in the future if you look into it. So and with this guy having hundreds of acres with sand and all of these things, it would be a great opportunity if we're able to pull it off, but we just need to be able to pull off something in short order. So we're working on stuff, guys.
Okay. Oh,
Thing.
sorry. You asked him what was his response?
No, I mean it's favorable, but I think that why when you're in this private equity space, sometimes deals take a little longer to come together because persons you have to sell a lot of these guys on the fact that you're giving up a stake, but it will be a larger pie.
Yes.
So that's kind of what you have to sell people on because for a lot of them it's their baby, they have grown it, they have struggled with it, they have brought it to a point where it is now something that other people are interested in. So, convincing them to say, yeah man, give me 51% is a hard pill to digest, So it does take a little time sometimes to get that shiny object that you're going after.
Well, you're putting in the work. 51%. I like that talk.
Is it me?
I really like that talk. Give it. I like the question. I noticed. I don't know if I have it right, but I think you guys have also when you just start. Wait, before I even move on, because you made a great point there. It is hard to convince private company owners to give up a piece of, regardless of 51% or not, give up a piece of what they have built. But you would
Yep.
have gone down the exact same road. Why were you convinced to do it? Because you didn't have to do it.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it is when you come out of the financial sector and you kind of get a feel of the capital markets, I guess it's easier because you have seen it happen so many times.
Yes,
You have been
sir.
a part of committees where you have brought companies to the market and so on, and seen the growth of a lot of companies that have been listed on the stock exchange. I mean, look at some of the companies. If you look at some of the companies and
We were
like I
talking
said,
about CPJ earlier.
yes,
CPJ, when this was
CPJ,
not CPJ today.
yeah. So you have seen it. So therefore, it's easier for you to say, but it's better to be a part owner of a $10 billion business. You get it? What I
It's,
said.
you,
So
you know what the pie smell like when it bake already. So
right, right. So I guess it's an easier decision for somebody who has seen it in action. So it's an easier decision for myself. Right.
Well, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy to
I'm
hear that.
happy you're sharing the
But
pie, sir. Yeah, man.
yeah. Really, really happy sharing the pie. Lighter question. I noticed that your logo changed between like the quarterly reports and the annual report. It's a completely light thing, but I noticed that you got a nice logo. You bring the bull in.
Bring the bull in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, one of the things is that we have a we have such a nice board of directors, a strong, diversified board of directors. One of our directors, our background is in marketing and so on, having worked in a lot of large organizations, created their logos and so on. So she was quite adamant that this is the logo that she wanted and so on. So I mean, I take the guidance, I'm very happy that I have that team that I can rely on to give me guidance.
And that's Anika Jengeli?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the people on
Yeah.
YouTube are seeing your the last annual report that you put out. So the profile of the directors are there.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So we therefore we're looking to draw, and I would draw on our directors, at the areas of expertise. We do have a lawyer on our board, so we can draw on her for guidance in the areas that we need. So
Jackson Spence, right?
yes. So
Just making sure that we give the people them flowers and the names get called properly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is something that we're happy about. And of course we will, over time, as the company grow, we'll expand the board more. So that is the new logo is based on the guidance of our director, Anika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. I personally like it. I like the interest.
Indeed.
I like the look. Yes. Yeah, I really
I
like
like
the
the
look.
meaning.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very bullish on
It's
the
saying
market.
young people should be bullish and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, your share price has been bullish for a lot of
Bullish.
people, but I think there's even more to come. Of course, none of us can read the future, but if those plans that you're talking about come to fruition, then I think we'll all have a very happy time to come.
Bring some shareholder value.
Yeah, and I've looked at this exercise, this part we're on. I've looked at it not as an overnight thing. I've looked at it. I mean, I'm not trying to advise anybody. I mean, based on my position, I can advise people to buy my stock or to not buy my stock.
All right.
But what I can say is that we know the path we're on in terms of our long-term build and what we have in the pipeline and what we know will happen in another year, another 2 years. And we're really excited about it. Being in a private company and so on, is all good and well. But I guess maybe based on my personality, I'm excited to have to answer to a board, answer to shareholders. I look forward to that. I look forward to, we have committed that the last virtual would be the last, because our shareholders said they don't want that anymore.
Your
So
next AGM is in person.
yeah, we next AGM in person, and I look forward to standing up in front of everybody and getting beaten up if necessary, or getting praised if it's warranted. So it's
I
a
love
good
that
thing.
sort of attitude. I love that you're doing that, so you're not looking to move away from it at all.
No, we would definitely think we definitely know we're on a winning path, right? And like I said, we can't say a lot, but based on what we have been working on, right? If 10% of what we have been working on, and I know a lot more like higher percentage than that will happen, but if 10% of what we're working on happens, we'll be a $10 billion company in 3 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Somebody heard that though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Big up. Well, Sir Dino, thank you. I don't want,
Yeah.
we're out. I know it's a Friday evening. You probably have some great things you might want to go do. I like that you started off with a question about another company. I don't know if you have any other questions you'd love to ask. Tell me another stock that you like outside of MFS, of course. Tell me another company
Well,
that you like.
let me tell you, in recent times, I've been buying some NCB, and it has gotten beaten up a lot, especially because of the fact that they have not paid any dividend this quarter. The last quarter wasn't great, but then, I mean, you discount the last quarter based on the last financial year, but it has gotten really beaten up because of the lack of dividends and so on. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know when they're gonna start back pay dividend, and I don't know if this is the bottom, but they're gonna start pay dividend at some time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start pick up some little, and if it go down more, I'll pick up some more. Whether it's 6 months or a year from now, Mr. Leachin needs some dividends soon. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I saw an article today from somebody. I don't know how accurate it is, but I saw an article in a girl group where somebody was sharing that I think he's selling his yacht.
Where so that Dino go buy it?
no.
No,
But
we get 3 years, Dino.
when I think also though, is that that a lot of these financial institutions that do benefit a lot when interest rates go up, I mean, yeah, you have the side where there is the risk where their non-performing portfolio can increase if it gets a bit out of hand in terms of the interest rate. But if you work in a bank like I have, that when interest rates go up, you move the rate on your loan product first, and then the rate and deposits lag. So therefore, your spread on your credit portfolio will increase in the short term and benefit the institution. So I mean, there is some possibility that some of these financial institutions, I don't know, some of these institutions like a NCB or a Scotia, which has those large loan portfolios, can benefit in the short term, when interest rate move. Yeah.
That's a true point. And of course, NCB being the largest of them.
Yeah.
Well, it was technically.
But the problem there is that they're not pure banks. I think that's where you might see the
Yeah,
part
that's
of that
right.
problem.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that affected them, if I remember correctly, was their insurance portfolio, and not the bank side of thing, which
For
lagged.
once, right? For once, the bank has been a problem in years past.
Yes. So that's one of the things that persons should look at. But I think I don't know when it will bounce, but I think it will bounce. It's that stock that was trading at $240 before COVID, So
yeah, it was. I think that was
2020 January thereabout.
Yeah, I feel it in 2021. Sorry, I'm looking at GHL instead of NCB, but NCB hit those levels of 200 and odd in 2019. So August 2019, it was around that level, and it's a bigger company now than it was in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has really gotten beaten up with the dividend this year. So I guess we'll have to see. I think, any bounce in the stock will have to come with them starting to pay back dividends.
All right. Well, you're smart. You're getting in the work. You're getting your shares in early while it's still way below its prior highs. So I cannot that as a strategy. And you say you're buying it little, so it's only like dollar cost averaging to me. Which this is as bets go in the financial space. NCB is not a bad bet at all, in my personal view.
Yeah, I mean, if it is something that you're not looking to make a capital gains off in a month or 2 months, if it's a more long-term play.
Yeah. All right, no problem. I see. All right, I ask one more. I see Dr. Bill himself have him hand up. So, Dr. Bill, I think the question you have for me or Danhai or for Sir Dino.
Just a last question for Sir Dino. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining.
Good evening.
I was actually going to ask you to make sure that when you go to the next AGM, when you go to a live AGM, that you keep a hybrid format, please. But then again, I'm thinking by that time, if your plans, as you say, even 10% come to fruition, I don't think I'll have a problem taking a flight.
No, I think also with I don't think I don't think any company will go back to full in person. I think everybody now will offer some amount of
Hybrid.
hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way forward. And the fact that you're leaning on tech in your business, it only makes sense to lean on tech
Yeah.
completely.
Makes
Yeah.
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
yeah. So, Sir Bill, you might not have to send the jet after all.
Yeah.
Can make it a land.
Yeah.
Annual
Yeah,
MFS.
big up, big up,
Land.
big up. All right, thank you for that, Sir Dina. All right, Sir Dina, I don't know if you have anything else you want to ask. I don't want to keep you too long. If you want to stick around, you're more than welcome.
No, I think that's it from me. I'm gonna actually hop off now because I had another engagement which I kind of pushed back. But
No problem.
I definitely will be joining in the future, asking questions and participating, not being the focal point as I was tonight.
Yeah, no, no
That's
problem.
what
You're in good. You're in good. Standing now. We've had quite a few, especially in the finance field, quite a few top players join us. So thank you for
yes,
joining that set of them.
indeed.
And
Best
yeah,
of
you're
luck.
always welcome.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, big up, Sir Hines. All right, so Danai,
What's good? Boy, everything good, don't
yeah, boy,
it?
the man said 3 years, 10 billion, you
3 years, 10 bill.
Good,
Jaja.
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
That's when Jerry tell him goes.
That's when I go.
When Jerry tell him goes.
Uh, big up, Jerry. Guys, if you just joining, welcome. It's BrickTalk as usual. We just had a wonderful conversation with Dino Hines from MFS, who was talking about just his own likes on the market, some of the things he like, a little bit of MFS, and a lot of his own future plans, both private and some of them public. Uh, I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, we can talk about anything else that you want as usual. So send a speaking request if you have any questions or anything. Before Sir Hines joined us, we were talking about what is the hot topic of the week, the impact of that announcement, and it kind of fizzled out, much like the share price. But anything you want to talk about, send a speaking request. If you're on YouTube, check the description. You'll see a thing called a space link. Click it, send a request, and we will talk about whatever you want. We're more than happy to talk about it. Uh, yeah, that's our any topic. Sir Piggles and Sir Dr. Bill spoke before. Sir Piggles, I don't know if you had another question or anything you want to talk about before you ask those questions that the man can answer.
No, not really. No, but my work here is done, But I don't know. I
Man,
wonder,
just come and get trouble and gone.
just wondering if we can get I will ask if we can have some of those guest people come on this. I'm gonna try to arrange a guest talk, isn't it?
And they're your people, sir.
Yeah, man, we love to have them. Just send them across.
Yep. Yeah, man. The door is open to anybody to send a speaking request every week. We do it. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Make some calls, cause this can't go on. So I think I'm
Please,
flying. So far.
please. Them can have them biggest cheerleader and fan on it every week, and then they'll come on, man. Ask them to come on and talk. We love to hear from them. We love to talk to them, and it don't have to just be about Fescas here. We like hearing about other things.
Oh, I was just saying that from the notice because remember somebody living in the future, right? So I see the message from Observer about their country SL is going to Egypt to discuss this APO thing. I'm gonna say, Jaja, I'm gonna look panicky. I was like, it has begun, and so said so done. But people just go and hold the faith. All those have 138 SL stock, keep holding the faith, and just how we should look. All right, cool.
Troublemaker out. big up, big up, Biggles. Oh boy. Then least interesting thing you've seen this week.
Least. That's the problem, you don't really catalog the least interesting one. You just
Yeah.
move past. But let me try now. Least interesting. Say, don't remember those. Open a
You
news
really
about My
remember?
Money JA. Big up those guys.
Yeah, completely.
PBS Sport to consider dividend for perpetual cumulative redeeming preference shares.
That's probably that might be the least interesting thing. Even though there is possibility of money there in
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
right?
indeed.
Are there any
I
other
mean, it might fit
perpetual?
somebody.
It might fit somebody. If you have a lot of money, it might be great, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you have a
And
truly a lot
perpetual.
of money. Yeah, perpetual. You know, as long as these companies are around, I must eat a small food. I must have some
Something
say.
must go on for me.
Some must, yeah. Wow. Um, I actually had something to talk about it and I completely forgot it. Um, not with the PBS, but with another point on the market. Hmm. And just going back to the point that Dino raised, the very first point that he raised when he asked about everything fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And he spoke about, how they're like what we say, competing with CPJ. But the whole tourism thing, I think,
The rising tides.
yeah, man, that's exactly the point I was going to make. Rising tide lift all boats, and I think that oftentimes we talk about tourism so much that it just become like a little mouthpiece thing. We just repeat, it's just like a sound bite, but we forget that really and truly, there is massive, massive, massive impact in coming from the space, and I don't just mean in US dollars, although that is of course one of the great things about it, but there's massive impact coming. I was glancing through CPJ's latest results that I think came out today, and they were saying they had a drop in profit, but they were saying that they are anticipating an unprecedented. I don't know. I'm going from memory. I should just open. I should just open the results and say, but they are anticipating an unprecedented rise in tourism locally. I believe it was in the MD&A. And I was thinking about how true it is and how normal we take that nowadays. That there are hotels being built like crazy, which imply a whole heap of knock-on things, right? I mean, those hotels not going to stay empty. Those people that go there have to eat food. When they're there, they have to enjoy themselves. When they're not there, they have to go to there's things like Dolphin Cove, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people you think visit Jamaica and get told on the tour bus that Jamaica have the best KFC in the world?
Most.
What percentage of them do you think stop and buy KFC, right? And then who sell KFC chicken, right? JBG. When you think about like the fact that as much as we about this water better than that water, like the water in Jamaica is orders of magnitude better than
top class,
than
right?
water all over the world, yeah. What do you think the
But
water
even
companies
10%,
even 10%? That 10% thing really the key, Sir Phil? It surprised me too. The billion, I like hearing the billion. I like hearing ambitious plans.
Yeah, man.
And I really like hearing that Guyana point. Wow, I don't think I've heard or read anything like that anywhere before. Yeah, big up this data for that. If you just join, you don't know what we're talking about, or if you're watching on YouTube, just skip back like maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and you should hear that conversation. But yeah, going back to the CPJ point, that they're saying that they're preparing for the unprecedented expansion in the number of available hotel rooms, some of which are already in the advanced stages of developments. So that's a company who is linked very much to the human side of tourism, meaning actual bodies that come into the country. Everything from the toilet tissue to the food they eat to the drinks. So they have
full experience.
the full experience. And they have a full view of what it means when if they're excited and they're them increasing them trucking fleet and them upgrading infrastructures, like the crowd coming. So them prepping. And using
as much
that
as
point,
tourism gets a bad rap, it is Jamaica's rising tide.
Yeah, and well, of course the constant, which is the money from foreign, which is funny because as we hear MFS is going into that, buying 100% of that company.
Yes, sir.
But then I realized that the man said that the smallest percentage he mentioned a while ago is 10.
Yes.
Every other percent was, how much MFS you buying? 100%. Over in Ghana, it's hard to convince a man to give you, 51. 51, damn. Damn, that's a subsidiary. Damn.
Yes,
anyway, yeah. So this wasn't a boring point at all, but it was a nice tangential point. In a set of results that didn't necessarily look that great, right? The profit was.
I know people see this on VIX.
Yeah, but
before this, wasn't so hot either, was it?
It was mostly flat. It was
Yeah.
1.6 million US,
Mm-hmm.
which was the same as it was a year before,
Is it a cool off?
roughly. Yeah, you think so?
No. I mean, what we see. I mean, in terms of like profits, was it was sure, but the company, not by a mile, bro.
Well,
Not by a
yeah,
mile.
don't take it light. The profit, the revenue is increasing, and even though the revenue is increasing, extra
Mm-hmm.
was at roughly 5 million US
Yeah.
came in revenue.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And I look at this as always. It's if it's not quote unquote good now, well, that's a good deal, right?
yeah,
If it's, I always find that point interesting. Just on the view to the longer term. I mean, always I think people look at that a bad thing. Boy, companies, it is a good company for the long term, and then vex at the share price going down. No, like you shouldn't be vexed. If you really have a long term view, like you are getting the deal you want. You're getting you're getting, if you really think somebody is selling this off, call them stupid, call them chaos 2 years down the line or 1 year from now. Exactly. Right? Like,
yeah.
oh, that idiot was sold to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, the market becomes a whole lot easier when we realize that the person on the other side of the
Outside,
trade is not an
not an
idiot.
idiot. Exactly.
They're not stupid. Yeah, so selling isn't bad. And yeah, what a hell of a story though. CPJ a year ago
Mm-hmm.
was roughly like
Yeah,
February
you're about
10th,
2022.
$20.31.
Yeah, so
And
around
now
half.
it's about half. Yeah, the funny thing is, you go back a year before that,
And
and where we are
it was
now
it,
is
it was
more
it
than
was it was 3 times that.
yeah.
A year before this was a third of what it is now.
Yep.
Jaja.
It's so funny that kind of perspective because that looked terrible just now until you bring it out.
Until where it come
Yeah,
from?
it's like a 50% drop, but then
Mm-hmm.
the girl grads who know this story buying from early
$2 something.
2021. Yeah, and some of
Jaja.
Danhai's customers who know this story. Yeah, to them,
We ate.
yeah, to them, $11
CPJ.
is a nice 3x, 4x, some of them maybe 5x, maybe if they're
Mm-hmm.
skilled. If they're skilled, you can get a
Yep.
5x out of it. But yeah, the market is wonderful, and this is a great example of a rebirth stock, if you will, rebirth in air quotes, but yeah, wonderful nonetheless. Um, yeah. But tell me, think of another rebirth story that you might know.
Rebirth.
Yeah,
All right. So yeah, I find that's a very interesting one.
yeah. I mean, MFS was
I
obviously
know
one, and I'm
that.
very happy that the stars aligned, having him on. I've seen him on the timeline, and I see people
Well,
questioning
really
him.
Phoenix company, born again twice.
Yeah, man. Oh God,
I
man.
think so, Christian.
Yeah. I want to make a comment, but I'm trying to be more mature. I made a comment in the girl God's group.
Rebirth.
But yeah, it's a hell of a turnaround
Key
story, and
insurance.
this one look like it's actually stuck. Key insurance, it's a good one. Yeah, you tell it.
Key
Why is it
insurance.
why
Boy,
is it
it
a
was
turnaround
going
for you?
through it. Always in problems, regulator about on him back.
Mm-hmm.
Losses on top of losses on top of losses.
Mm-hmm.
And the company was it was looking like boy, either we're shutting down or we're getting bought out. And it even felt like, I don't think for me, but I think a good amount of the market was there's a lot of no faith in key insurance. Remember that? This
Yep.
company, why would you buy that? It was really the company that this shouldn't be listed, all of that. And then GK shows why. Rebirth, the giant company take them under the fold, give them some money, bring them back up. And the
Yep.
interesting point, key insurance really holds that $3 pretty thing there. And then I look at the valuation now. $3 before when the problems was when $3 key insurance was rich at $3 one time.
Oh
Now the
yeah,
PE is
yeah.
10. So it was coming from the point. I mean, it was losses only, so I couldn't even take that at PE. It was why this company trading at $3. It should be. People are saying we really can't expect that this thing worth anything more than the
Mm-hmm.
assets that are there. And then
Mm-hmm.
no, it's still growing. Since GK has bought in, it hasn't stopped growing year on year. So yeah, proper rebirth. As much as people don't really look at it right now, if it's also something I watch very interestingly, especially because it's a part of the GK group. it is now an outlet for them whole. It's not an outlet for them whole insurance network. This is a piece of the pie that has to eat a certain level of food that they get into the business.
And
so the more GK grows, and it benefits across the whole GK group, no matter what.
Correct. And you know, the insurance game, the insurance
exactly that. No, yes, you're saying exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
the insurance game.
The insurance game benefits from scale.
Exactly.
Earning season listeners will remember this from Jesus at this point, maybe 4 years ago. We said it
yes.
4 or 5 years ago. Before Key got bought out.
Before GK, we were talking about this as the thing to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody should buy this.
Yeah, and somebody must buy it, and eventually
exactly.
Yeah, eventually it happened. They got bought, and GK, as I said, insurance benefits from scale, and GK, of course, has an entire insurance, and they have grown and continue to grow significantly, which means that the GK group, I suspect, is either benefiting from or will benefit from more scale. I don't know. In fact, off the top of my head, I don't know if how GK is reinsurance wise.
In fact, GK just said something about insurance.
Really? What did they say?
Can't remember. News article. I don't properly read it.
I know that the last big massive thing that we know about with them and insurance is that they bought all of Scotia insurance for the Eastern Caribbean.
Oh man, they said something recent. Actually, let me check my money. Thank God.
About insurance specifically?
I think so.
I think one thing that I've been wondering about with GK now is those funds. The funds that the unit trust that I think people have forgotten about that they're coming with. I actually think about them being the lead broker on the late 138 SL, and I think that I was thinking about go through. In fact, it's not even my point. Big up Jerry who mentioned it because I hadn't said it out loud or anything yet, and I was thinking that
I wasn't even going to that. I was just thinking again that throws again into insurance. Because if GK takes a stake here, it only makes sense that it's property insurance that comes further into this. If GK throw a stake in there, then it only reasons to me that at some point, when 138 getting better, when whatever their expansion plans is, it's going to be real estate in my mind. So that's another thing that falls under the GK group as insurable money that will stay in them group. I make more profits for them.
Yeah. It's like it's continuity of income window. It might not look that way because it's very likely that they'll. But hold on. I mean, 138 is heavily Sagicor, no?
I've been wondering about that.
So Sagicor is the number one shareholder in 138 Student Living.
I think that might change.
That would be very, very, very interesting if that were to change. Oh, okay. Will they lose the number one spot? I don't know, but the level of dilution that's about to come
is heavy. So even one of GK, if Sagicor wasn't interested in going to a certain level, what GK is.
So like GK would, one of the reasons for APO, one of the good things is to bring in your
outside shareholder.
your outside shareholder. And oftentimes you don't want, as a majority shareholder, you don't want to face any dilution. So you screw the non-fundamentals. But in this case, if they, I don't know, because I'm thinking Sagicor might not want to lose that kind of business, right? Well, do they have that kind of business?
They might not stay where they are.
Kind of business. Do they? Does Sagicor have that kind of business?
What do you mean?
The property insurance.
Yes. They used to have thing there. They do have thing there. They have Wi-Fi again. They have.
Is it AGI them?
AGIC, yes. AGIC is them.
Advantage General.
In fact, I know for a fact they do the thing there. Yeah, man. They do thing there. Which is also, I think, an interesting point. I did mention it to you privately or something about that. But yeah, that's the same thing there. They're Wi-Fi again. Remember, they're largely Wi-Fi health and life, and you know that somewhat has to be removed. So they bought into HIC, and that's where they pushed it. What do you call that now? Insurance.
A different type of insurance. Sorry, I'm thinking about that reinsurance point, and I was trying to edit myself because I don't know how much I want. So one is along the lines of my research. Two, but I was thinking about that same point you said, you were wondering around GK and insurance. So if let's see, insurance, I remember an article that had the head of the IHJ, I believe, or was it? I remember the picture had Peter Levy on it, who is I think
Mm-hmm.
at BCIC,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is it, property
I
insurance
wondered
crisis
about
from
that
2 months
point
ago.
when I saw that article.
Mm. What were you thinking
When
about it?
I was thinking about so I must admit I don't know a lot about insurance, but my understanding is that one of the issues was that seems to be happening is that a lot of the reinsurance is becoming a lot of reinsurance is big international companies
Hmm.
from Germany, etc.
And
And
just sorry, not to lose everybody, I it's cut just so people can understand it. And I'm reading from the article here, so people can. Reinsurance is a practice whereby insurers transfer portions of their risk portfolios to other parties by some form of. That is the most complicated way to say it.
Mm-hmm. The
Right.
insurance
insurance for
guys
the
are
insurance
insured.
companies.
Reinsurance is
It's a big
the
ladder.
big it's the big insurers who are taking on massive risk,
Mm-hmm.
and then think of the smaller insurance companies buying. They're being insured. So when you buy insurance on your car from, let's say, your insurance broker, that broker is actually
Insuring your
probably
policy again.
it's being insured again by a bigger entity. And so
Mm-hmm.
you pay to your broker, and your broker pays part of what you pay over to them. Sometimes your broker
And
pay
then that
all of
guy
what you
and
pay over to
no,
them.
again, you pay to the broker pay to the insurance company local pay to an American guy, and then American guy pay to a thing
A
that we call it
European
a
guy,
European guy.
Munich Re.
yeah, to Lloyd's,
Yeah.
and then Lloyd's
But what you're
connected to the
hearing now,
Illuminati.
what you're
We're
hearing
hearing
now
that
is thing that is that
reinsurance
what you
is
call it
getting more expensive
is and reinsurance
or
also
even
looking at a
unavailable.
region kind of side eye. But that's a kind of
Right.
that's another not what I didn't get the perspective that it was the top reinsurers. It was the middleman for those guys that we pay over to. So GK scale might matter more there,
Right.
That would
or
explain why
anybody's
those
scale
that would explain why those companies, well, like GK and so, would be
scaling
scaling
up.
up. Yeah,
Yep.
because
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
there's
Cut out that
opportunity
guy.
there. If
Cut out the
there's a
middleman.
Looking
crisis,
forward
if
to
there's a
seeing GK
crisis,
Re.
Sorry, say that again, Phil.
Looking forward to hearing about GK Re.
Was GK a REIT?
Make GK Re RE. I'm
What
Oh,
is
just
what
that?
is
making up a
that?
company name. I'm just making up a reinsurance name for a GK reinsurance company.
Okay. Well, most reinsurance companies name Re, right? So you might not.
Man, we fire out the mark there.
Too far.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what about? So you're saying you're thinking GK could do that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw that Peter Levy article that I can't find.
Yeah. Well, I have it up on, at least I think I have it up on screen. It was a comment made by one of the Caribbean guys actually at the IAJ. I don't know what it is. I'm skimming the article, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting it all right. But the part I'm highlighting is the important part here, where he says specifically to Jamaica, you guys are in the headlight a little bit because your rates have not been adequate, and reinsurers have been pressuring for the last couple of years to push up rates. So simply put, the bigger heads outside charge $1,000 to insure a car. In Jamaica, nobody can afford to go to $1,000. Like our smaller guys, and I'm saying smaller here because not smaller in the context of Jamaica, but in the context of insurance, they know that that's not where the market in Jamaica is. Put another way, anybody who go foreign and know about foreign, like even just vehicle insurance in America, it is orders of magnitude more expensive than vehicle insurance in Jamaica. So the insurance rates generally in Jamaica have been low. But if the overall market is low, one player can't necessarily be charging 500,000 for the same thing that his competition is charging 100,000 for. So I mean, whoever does that loses a lot of the market. But the reality is that it's kind of that the rates kind of have to be at the 5,000, not the 1,000 where they are, and it hasn't really been fixed, and so a lot of the reinsurers are pulling out. But I'm saying all of that to say that it might actually be an opportunity. A crisis for one person is an opportunity for somebody else, right? Um, and so I wouldn't be surprised if something like GK is in there. I mean, going off even the small things, look at the little banner in the background. Key Insurance is right there, which brings us back to the same point that I was saying. GK Insurance is also there, all within that group. I think there might be the opportunity for reinsurance with to pop up there. In fact, don't they own a reinsurance? Who owns a reinsurance company in Europe right now?
Jardim?
No, man,
Is it?
that listed company does. I want to say GK does,
I
but
think it's GK, but I don't want to say yes. Is either them or Guardian? I think it's GK. I think it's actually GK. I don't think it's Sagicor. I think it's actually GK. It's not Sagicor.
mm,
Yeah, man. Hold on. Stop. We can check. Don't
yeah,
it?
well, we should check. By the way, if you want to talk about anything else, you want to talk about another company, another stock, or whatever,
I'm just
send a
open
speaking
stock exchange
request,
website. Like I said, them all things over there.
and
Three finger
yeah,
tap,
send a
brother.
speaking
Three finger
request
tap.
in the
I
My Money
really
JA
just
app.
check. As in, I open the stock exchange website, and then I realize I don't know where the hell I need to go for because they're not very happy to where it need to. So
It can be difficult to find sometimes, but they're trying. They're
can
trying. Give,
can.
give them a chance. Give them a chance. They might have improvements going. By the way, that's something that should be mentioned. Let me pause. I mentioned that the JCSD portal. I think just as retail investors, that's something that we should all be aware of, especially in this time. So the
Yes, sir.
JSE did launch this week their JCSD portal. What can I tell you about this in a simple way? I mean, they tell you how to do it. Go to jcsdportal.jamstockx.com. I'll say that again, jcsdportal.jamstockx.com. If you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter or any other platforms in the future, you see it there at the top of the screen, jcsdportal.jamstockx.com. If you have a JTrader account, if you're with a broker that has a JTrader account, your JTrader info works here. And simply put, it can help you to verify some of the information about what you should know, about what should be in your account. Now, My Money JA helps you with that too, but I cannot. This is a good step from JC. It helps people to verify a lot of the information. I think a couple of weeks ago when we had Chris Berry on, he mentioned that the functionality always existed. And this week, the JSE launched this portal to make it easier to see it. You can set up your dividend mandates and you can do a lot of things. So I'd encourage people to actually go there and do that so you can know what's in your account. And if you are with a broker who is no longer able to trade, you probably want to go on and check to make sure that what you think is in your account is what's actually there, right? And to
Hey,
help complement you that, set up a My Money JA account, mymoneyja.com. Set up an account. It will help you very, very much. And if you have a premium account, you will very, very soon be able to check it on your app. Some of you already can, but the growers subscribers can, but more people will be able to check it on their app very, 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 very soon. Very, 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 very soon. I can't emphasize how much very the soon is. Can't overemphasize it. Anyway, Dana, you find the point yet?
oh no, but there's a. Oh God, I must have lost a new point.
You're looking around, you're looking for
Something
the
distract me just now.
reinsurance.
No man, something hit me or something. I need to distract me away from it.
Nuts for the re. I think that's the name out I'm
I
looking
think
for.
so as well. I think I'm looking at it right now, but there's something else there. So, oh yes, SSL.
Yeah.
People. So I spoke to a client today who has an SSL account, and the interesting part,
What's that?
and it's not. I don't think it's a money disappear situation. It's just an inconvenient situation. She goes on her day trader, and she no longer sees her SSL thing there.
Ah,
Her SSL JCSD number. So if you have an SSL account, and you actually still see your when you go on JTrader, you still see the SSL account represented there. Let me know. I don't know if it's a thing unique to her. I think the JC shouldn't take it off.
no,
I don't know if
man.
it's
I
a
think maybe
problem or
you
whatever.
missed some of the news. You missed some of the news. Maybe like me, you just
I know
like tired of
it's
hearing about it
suspend,
now.
but
Yeah, it was suspended,
but
and
no,
I
but
think
then the person can't go on and just the person wondering what's going on. Cause them things that disappear in front of them. You get me? Just make it gray out. I can't use it. Something like that. Instead, I can't know what's going on with the stocks there anymore. You get me? So that's a
well, there's this
that's a
article from
suggestion.
well, I don't know if maybe they were or were not able to do that. I actually have an SSL account. I should check it. I'll check it when we get off stream.
Well, mind if I know something?
I will talk about it when I'm off here. But no, but I had signed mine up way back in the day. I actually signed it up because I ran. And he, as I think he has tweeted, is true. At least I've not lost anything. So, but all I had there was stocks, and stocks hard to thief, and it's even harder if you pay attention to it.
Yes,
And I
sir.
do pay attention to it, so it's still there. At least I still own the stocks. So now, a point I should let people know: your stocks are yours, regardless of the broker. Your stocks are yours, so they can be moved around at will because they are yours. You only interface with the market through a broker, but the stocks are yours. So take this part with a grain of salt now. So I believe that even if you can't access it because maybe like me, you're a customer of that institution and it has been suspended at their request, I believe. I believe you may still be able to request that inter-member transfer. Is that what it's called?
Yes, I believe you can inter-member movement, inter-member transfer.
And
Move the
move your
stocks to
shares
another place.
to another broker.
Yes.
Again, grain of salt on that because there's a whole process, and I don't know if maybe that's under I hold on thing now. I don't know the details of it. I am overwhelmed by that kind of news, so I don't really pay attention to it anymore. But the point that I started all of this to say, based on what Danhai was just saying, is that this article from Dashan Hendricks that came out today, that it was SSL that requested the suspension of it, and it's being quoted as a prudent thing to do. Check the article out. I'll tweet it out and share it in the space, and you can take a look at it just to know more and follow Danhai's advice, as you hear him say. I can understand how that might be scary for somebody though. If
you hear always in the news, they don't know what's going on, but then they're not seeing the stocks online. So it's kind of a worry point for her. Yeah. And I can imagine most people seeing that kind of thing, what's going on with money.
Yeah. Important quote here from Dr. Street Forest from the JC saying that SSL got a directive from the FSC that every transaction that goes through the brokerage must be approved by them being the FSC. And trading online doesn't allow that because you are in control of it yourself. So as a result, I can see then it's either you're going to change the platform or you're going to disable that broker. So that they made the move to disable that broker. I understand that completely. Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah. No problem. Anybody who wants, remember to mute that or not. Anybody want to send a question, ask anything, talk about anything in the time while Danhai is gone? I don't want to give you guys dead air, and I don't want to blab on mindlessly. Sirfield, since you're there,
I found nuts for re.
Oh, sorry, from GK.
Yeah, nuts for the re seems to be a Turks and Caicos company actually.
Yeah, and it's a
domiciled in Turks and Caicos, but
yeah,
it's a reinsurance company.
But I don't know how deep that reinsurance operation goes for them. Meaning, I don't know if it's like at the size or scale where they can take on everything, or if it's just maybe captive reinsurance or something. I don't know. It'll be good to find out. But I know that GK has a hell of a insurance arm, heavy insurance arm. So that is something else. Sir Philip, you're on every week, so I should ask you, what's the most exciting thing you saw this week?
We die. Most exciting for the week.
Yeah, over Danhai killing what sounds like either like a spider or a roach.
Well, that thing sound like it hard for them. Must be huge.
Yeah, right?
I mean, you mentioned what was the most exciting thing for me already, which is main event results.
Which results?
Main event results until
it
was the most
exciting in the background.
Until Dino.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, you were. You and
sorry,
what were you killing? A spider?
A roach. No. Don't come in my yard.
So like
I had the door open to. So I have to explain, but I'm right beside the bush.
So Sirfield was saying that the most interesting thing he saw this week was until until what are you going to say until 1:38?
Until BrickTalk.
Until 1:38?
Oh no, until Dino came on. Okay, yeah. Dino actually
Oh
said
no,
some
dead,
very
dead, dead,
exciting
dead,
things.
dead, dead.
Yeah. Some very exciting things outside of the roach killing that I carried out. But yeah, what about the main event results did you find interesting, Phil? 'Cause I don't know if we actually spoke about that we spoke about them coming back. They're an example of a phoenix company, if you will, rising from the ashes. But I don't know if you're
Well, I
excited
can't say
about where they are
nobody ever
now.
really did, you know. I think
Yeah, they
I
don't
think
really.
they made best of a bad situation. Like them
They
some
made the
box,
best.
but they were flexible. Them all shut down the office to make sure the cost them so stay low, no physical location. We try to do as much business outside of we can't have the party, but anything we do, anything going on, we're there. So I'm going, man.
And then did a phenomenal pivot into
We keep
COVID.
turn around.
They are
Wicked.
pivoting COVID,
Make
you say,
sure the
Sir Phil?
company survive. Yeah, man, into COVID and making
Oh
sure the
yeah.
company stay alive.
Anything that anyone again, those broadcast meetings, any live broadcast meeting, them they were there. Make sure that they do the setup for it and thing. Like they did a couple AGMs too, Phil, something like that.
They did office. Yeah, they did a lot of office work. So like they would set up. And even at the, when we're starting emerging like little office parties, but office events. I don't know if they did listed company AGMs. I can't recall, but I know they did corporate meetings over
Right,
that
well, I
time.
mean, I like that. I remember, I don't know if somebody said this. If somebody said it and giving you your praise, you can come on another week or this week and tell us that you're the one who said it. But I'm thinking about it. Was any other company affected more by COVID than them?
Boy,
I mean, the literal thing that they do got locked down, right?
was locked down,
The
exactly. You could
gathering
not
of people.
do.
Yeah, literally couldn't do
That's
that.
what them do. That's what
Yeah,
they do.
I don't know if anybody else would have gotten
Not as hard as them, no.
yeah, and to come out of it the way that they came out of it.
And
The
this
close
quarter, they said that they made most of their profit last year in the
yeah,
last 2 quarters.
yeah, that was clear. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
123.8 million in the third quarter, 47 million in the fourth quarter, and a loss in the first quarter. That's not a light thing at all. I mean, the 47 million in the fourth quarter is like roughly half of their 2019, roughly a little less. Their 20 no, it's 47 or 40. What am I looking at here? Yeah, it's almost half, roughly in half of their 2019 profit figure, and they did that in one quarter, which to me looks like, a company that is really, really, really set on
And having a good year.
yeah, and the first
At
quarter
least.
in January 31st, so our next report coming.
Yes, sir.
Our next report coming in a month and a week, if not sooner. And what happened? What events did they have in Jamaica up to January? When was the Burner Boy thing? Last year or this year?
Last year.
Yeah,
But
I was right there, man.
December.
It was great. That was December.
Nice. Oh, so that's the quarter that's about to be reported.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it wasn't Burner Boy alone. What else was it? The whole
Everything. Then the everything, brother.
brother.
Christmas did the ram, Christmas was the first Christmas post-COVID. Party
I remember
did keep like crazy. Everything. Trust me.
Justin posted something just before I was coming to Jamaica for the Burner Boy concert, among other things. And Justin posted a list of parties.
Mm-hmm.
There was something every day, and there were people tweeting below him, but you forget this and you forget that. Like him put a list of 20 events.
Yeah.
And then people posting below and saying you forget this, that.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, events like joke gone on over this Christmas.
Word.
Was it Rebel Salute in that quarter? I think so. maybe. Yeah, man. Rebel Salute was
And
in
then
that
all
thing.
of the New Year's events and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff all the way to the end of January. Whoa.
And
Wow.
some of the carnival launch parties went on because they launched some of the carnival bands already.
What you mean? Oh, the Danhai thing that, you know.
And there,
Indeed.
yeah.
So the
Indeed.
launch,
No, the
the
Trinidad
band
band.
launches were almost like parties themselves.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Proper setup.
Word.
It's a proper display of what's to come. And they're going to be a part of what's to come. So
For sure.
them see it, man. Them see it. Money
They
make.
see it.
And think about it. What was Carnival last year in 2022? What's going on there? And then we're going into a time when Carnival full force now.
Yeah.
Unbridled.
Things are keep and things now go stop keep. So these guys are gonna eat a big food. They're already eating a big food, brother.
Everything is
Before
fine.
now.
Remember, they also had the wedding arm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are married now, and that was also a big constraint thing there. The moment we free up, they were doing that business.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's a blessing to anybody that was looking at them last year.
And the tourist, so
Anybody
that
that's looking at them now, because
that aligns well with the tourism business, right? Yeah,
yes.
tourism. That's a line I don't hear a lot of people talk about, main event and tourism, because the wedding thing, Jamaica as a wedding destination is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to become bigger as we are building 8,000 hotel rooms, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Also, look at thing there. Like things like Dream Weekend. In the capacity that it was kept, when it was kept, what is going to be now? Full force, fully open. Main event eat again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also ramping up the not so spoken about business that them deal with, the screens.
Yeah.
We've seen this again. We've seen over the last year how much digital screen insert, how much what do you call it again, NOA, that they partner with, put advertising heavily. How much new digital screen locations them have, how much advertising business, and Main Event manages that. That's more money.
Yeah. In fact, I saw they did a launch of there's a related company, so it's not Main Event, but the same Main
But they do
Event
the management
people
of it.
own it. No man, what's the name of that company?
iPrint.
iPrint did a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I just remember that I didn't want to talk about that.
I started talking about it. I'm talking about it. So.
So I didn't want to talk about that. I remember there's something that, because I'm looking at them, it look like they want a list, right? It looked like they want a list. To me, them look very listish.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that, okay, what's the thing you didn't want to talk about? I thought it was the Main Event SVL link, but I don't think that's anything. SVL owning 10% of Main Event, which and them having that thing with Caymanas, where actually, to your point, Phil, they've spoken about it from the perspective of tourism. That
Tourists
they want
being
to
brought to Cayman as
the
an event
races at Cayman as an
destination.
event. Yeah, and of course we know Main Event handles the events best, just generally, and Main Event now being
Affiliated with.
10% owned by SVL, and Cayman as chairman being the CEO of Main
CEO of
Event.
Main Event, correct.
And yet the thing that I never want to talk about wasn't even that. So I thought it was the iPrint group thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the SVL thing is a big thing. SVL bougie, you know, bro.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it gets uptownified now. What do you think? What field did he go?
Field it go? No, but
I saw Gordon there.
What's that?
I saw pictures of Gordon there. Yeah, man, the thing there, the launch of that.
Yeah, Mute Mile.
The Mutet Mile, yeah.
Oh, the Mutet Mile. Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, they had to do more. That's proper event being kept there. It's no proper event space. So
Bridgerton vibes.
Yeah, man. And they also, as you have a big screen now, there's no right. They have digital screen in there heavy. No, was it set up or is it to be set up?
I think I think it was set up. I remember reading about that with the Caymanas thing. I remember Caymanas itself. We were hoping that Caymanas would list,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked to me like it was going to be listed. They started to post their financials separately, and then they stopped. And you have to kind of dig into the SVL financials to work out what element of it is horse racing and how it is. But it's obviously a big business for them, and they've spoken openly. They being SVL, they've spoken openly about how they have managed to turn around in many ways Caymanas. And so Caymanas itself within SVL, I'm gonna assume I wouldn't say maybe it was the weakest element, but they have turned around the operations of Caymanas. And I mean, we've been open about the fact that I hope that they list it. I hope that they spin it off. I think they'll spin it off, but I don't know for sure. It's not my decision. It's up to the SVL team, which is really the Mayberry team also. Sir Berry, big up Sir Berry and Sir Peart. Um, and what they'll do there, and I hope that they spin it off. And if they spin it off,
Mm-hmm.
how likely is main event to get
To
a
eat.
piece? Yeah. I mean, obviously, main event is going to eat no matter what.
Yes, sir.
But how likely is main event to get a piece? It's almost inevitable because the chairman of Caymanas is the CEO of main event.
Yeah.
This is definitely one.
Just flow the valley, definitely. Most like.
I hear it, looking at it, and I'm thinking, I don't own enough. I don't own,
Me too.
I don't own enough.
I owe some, I don't know. Yeah.
Main event or SVL, yeah,
That's a
I
joke.
was actually thinking main event, not SVL. I don't own
Actually, I
enough
was thinking
SVL
main
either,
event
but
too.
yeah,
trust me.
SVL is a bigger, much bigger player. Sometimes you get the smaller effect before you can get to the bigger effect. Yeah, main
Big
event.
truck take longer for turn.
Yeah, it's funny, I actually sold some main event, some not either some or all of my main event, not all, but the vast majority of my main event earlier, well, late last year, and I ended up buying back in. I think I bought more. I might have even bought today. I don't know. I'll have to check. But yeah, this is definitely one of those brick rebirths that are actually happening in front of us. I think in a year we'll look back on it and go, if me did know.
Yeah, boy.
Of course, if you want to know for sure, link Danhai at D Hall Advisory, and
Advisory.com.
and he'll tell you what's best for your portfolio. If you want to learn to do what I do and what you hear us talk about doing, what at this point I've taught hundreds, if not thousands, of people to do, is to invest practically, sensibly. It's not magic. It's not only for money. It's not it's not any chopping. Thank God, it's a wonderful legal, sensible thing that anybody that have sense can do, and you have an advantage if you're Jamaican because you understand Jamaica better. You want to learn how to do all of that, everymickle.com/grow, and I will teach you. And take it from me, the person whose course it is, and I'm biased. It's the best course around. And take it from anybody else. Check the tweets. Right? People tweet about it all the time. I'm so happy to see people talk about it.
Facts.
People praise it. I don't know how to take praise, but at this point, years into it, I have to admit that I've built something that's pretty damn good, and I'm proud of that. And I'm happy for everybody I've helped with it, and that they continue to help other people too. So, I mean, the rum nice and everybody can pay for it. That's what I always say.
Facts.
Yeah. So,
I've paid for a lot of room from the teachings, so I can't make that a bit of listener. I've paid for a lot of things from it. I mean, I said it already. I keep saying it because it keeps hitting me. I pay school fee from it, not my school fee. That's the biggest part to me. I waste my mother money at school. No, I come around and help her. I pay other people's school fee. That's crazy to me, brother.
It's crazy if you couldn't pay it.
That's the thing. I couldn't go think that when him again. I couldn't go to school abroad because I got a half scholarship and I really couldn't afford the half. It was too much money. My little brother, gone abroad, brighter you than me, better the school thing by far. And think that he way more focused, diligent student, all that. But sometimes the money kind of down in terms of because the expenses that I think, and sometimes the scholarship not really cover because they're very up and down with it. And the market has been paying for over a year now. Anywhere the scholarship fall down, that's where the money go. I know I haven't even said this much. My cousin is going to school now. She went to high school. and the market is paying for her going into thing that her nursing degree right now.
Word.
That is a crazy idea to me because I never see myself as, oh, you know, like you always say when you're young, yeah man, most make money on help mommy, you know. But you know you see it. I mean, you've spoken about that in a lot of ways, how your family has benefited from what you've done on the market.
Yeah,
Mind
I've
blown.
also benefited. Yeah,
That
yeah.
too. I don't, but you know, but I think it's easier to talk about that where they've benefited in some ways, you know, just the kind of return that you get on that. That's, trust me, the market there, things can happen from it. Just
yeah. Do it,
bro, I will
please.
show you how. Do it.
Yeah, I said to people all the time. Also, I realize people have this thinking in their mind. You know, they almost think of selling as a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
No.
people tell me all the time, you know, boy, I won't call the person name, but I know the person is listed. They're telling me a story about how, you know, last year, how things are kind of rocky and then they have to end up have to eat out of them portfolio because them end up spending it off and handling
That's the
this and that
point.
and that. And I'm saying, yo, imagine if you never have the portfolio for cover it. That is the point. The point of the money is to spend it. It's there. The point of investing is to help you to do whatever you need to do or want to do in the way you want to do it. It's not to say, oh, I have the biggest portfolio. Unless you want to that, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But the situations that we're going to face in life, we're going to face them no matter what. Might as well you face them with more money.
I remember I had a client, like he booked before, but in the time he was waiting for the session to happen, because I booked 2 months before. That's typical when clients book 2 months before. In the time he was waiting for the session to happen, he lost his job.
Ooh.
And the portfolio was doing enough for him. And he just, like, the initial goal, whatever, like he lost the job. He was looking at another job, thought he was getting it, and he was going to work out. Initial goal will reach over. And thus the profits from that was enough to hold him on him. Like he was paying for things. It wasn't like he was about regular normal. He has a lot of responsibility in his family. And the portfolio pay for it in the interim to get a new job and get money now and can push him more money back into the portfolio. And that was that. The portfolio was doing it for him. That's what the money did it for. I know a lot of people, well, I think people sell when they're in a bad spot and like they want to apologize to me. Then I know I couldn't get full car. I'm sell. I'm like, that's the point. That's why I'm doing this. It's not so the money is there for. It's not to fancy and say, boy, you know about the money in the market. The money real. The money is supposed to spend when it's supposed to spend. That's why you invest. I mean, nobody tell you about, boy, never sell whole for 10 years. I thought if that's what works for you and your pocket, sure. But not everybody that.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can be doing that and 5 years in. You need to draw the money. Good thing you're investing. Because you can start drawing the money. You have something you can pull from. You know, we all know a lot of people because they're not doing it. When the time comes, rough. So if you have the ability to, definitely push into it. And more than likely you have, if just think about it, it doesn't have to be to the level that you want to start somewhere.
Yeah. If you have more than the cheapest stock on the market is cents.
It's cents.
CENTS.
Exactly.
So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, you have enough money to start investing. If you think you don't, or you think you don't know what you're doing, come to Grow. If you don't ready for that yet, or you don't have the money, or you just want to get your feet wet, mymoneyja.com, sign up for a free account and put in the pretend trade them.
Yep.
Right? Create a portfolio and try it out. See what happens. Test yourself. It's a way for you to actually test yourself.
Start learn. Hit the ground running. When you have the money in hand, you can start something with it because you know how the thing work before it start.
Exactly. The risk is little to nothing, right? No risk because it's not like you're putting money in.
It's not like you're putting money up.
You're just creating a portfolio and you're saying, let me pretend we have $1 million, and then buy the stocks that you think your $1 million
and it's you never lose if all you do is learn.
Yeah, man. Exactly. If you get it wrong, you've learned. If you get it right, you've learned. Yeah. So check it out. I won't have us go too late tonight since I look like everybody's shy tonight. Or Sir Dino hit them with the 10 billion talk and everybody go and drink and talk about it.
I said they're belly full.
Yeah. If anybody wants to talk about anything else, this is your last chance. Send a speaking request. I know I have to wait like 30 seconds for people to hear that because of the lag. But I will wait and we'll talk about whatever you want to send a speaking request and we'll discuss it. Otherwise, we will say good night.
So Cliff come back on.
Sir Cliff? Oh, I I can't actually see him. Cliff have to send a speaking request.
Well, Cliff, they want to talk to Dino.
Or maybe let's see what they don't want to say.
Maybe we can answer. Cliff, go on. Jump on.
Jump on, Cliff. Send a speaking request and we'll do it. Or anybody else. And speaking of the Dino thing, I think one of the things that I really liked hearing to was him talking, how open is and talk about listening. Same listen to him shareholders, and I like that. That's impressive. You don't hear a lot of companies saying that. If you actually pay attention to the actual words that a lot of the corporate heads and leadership teams put out, they talk about caring about the shareholders. They talk about doing the best for them. They talk about doing the stuff in the best interest, but very few of them talk about actually listening to their shareholders. And his response to that question was, I listen to my shareholders. I find that to be very, very impressive. I hope that's where the market is turning to now. And obviously it's a trait that him have, because I'm also, when I asked him about the logo, he said that he listened to his other board member who has marketing skills. So that's a man who knows what he's good at and knows how to find the people that's good at things he's not good at, and to listen to them, which is a skill that we all need to learn, myself included. So big him up for that. Sir Cliff.
Yeah, man. Good night, guys.
Night.
Yeah, man. Boy, I really wanted to ask Dino the question, but I think based on what he responded to another question, I was pretty much satisfied.
Okay. What did you want to ask him? Questions that him can't answer?
I think he would have been able to answer, but he made an interesting tweet earlier this week. And it's just interesting because a few days after he tweeted APO or rights issue, we see an APO announcement come out. So that was quite interesting.
I say instructive.
Well, let's
say what you do again.
let's hear the question that you'd have asked.
So my question would have been to get his personal views. I know he wouldn't have been able to speak definitively for the listed company, but to find out his views around the same tweet that he made, whether APO. Exactly. So that's why I say it was answered to some extent. Because for a CEO to tell me that he listens to his shareholders, then I'm sure if he look under that same tweet, he would have seen
See what
his shareholders are saying.
I'm looking at that tweet now, the responses to it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You guys mob the gentleman. Only a right issue is acceptable unless you don't care about us retail investors and the share prices. And Mark, you're wrong. The second funniest meme account, investor meme account behind the great stunks. MD Enterprises, as a shareholder, the obvious choice is a renounceable rights issue. Damn. The brick cutter himself, Spielberg Invest. This is what happens when APOs are announced. Don't let any broker or anyone tell you otherwise. And what's it?
Wait there.
Oh my God. People, I'm happy about this. Let me explain something to you.
Question.
These are all human beings that I'm reading what they wrote. Company is like a human being, but it's not a human being. Also, companies don't give a damn about you unless they're your company. So I am the thing that has been missing from the investment conversation for the years, at least all of my life in Jamaica, has been the voice of the retail.
Yes,
so I am proud when I see this. I am happy when I see the retail talking like this, because it wasn't there before. Maybe that's why no company speaks about listening to their shareholders.
Oh, of course. Of course not. Because if they listen, then they might have to do something.
Wow.
They might end up having to do something that's in the best interest of all shareholders. Imagine.
Yeah. Without asking them.
Yes, sir.
It's funny. Think about it, Danhai. We have heard companies say in the past, like they made an XYZ move, or they chose to go another way because their shareholders couldn't supply rare. And I thought, wait, I'm a shareholder.
Oh, you know that. You never asked
Nobody
me that.
asked me. You never asked. Yes. Well, yeah, so it's refreshing to hear a CEO speak about listening to his shareholders and acting that way. I won't even be coy about this rights issue. Renounceable rights issue. Rights issue. Rights issue. Rights issue all the way. It must be a rights issue. My God. What's the objective? Well, there's one in every crowd. So I'm happy that the retail has found its voice and is talking, and let's continue to this.
Pay
I hope
keen
it stays
attention to
this
who
way.
is listening and who is
Yes,
not.
yes. Keen attention, because that's what will affect your money. I
Yep.
am happy that the
I
retail
remember a tweet the
conversation.
other day about if a CEO were to tell you that he doesn't care about his stock price. That is another. That is a. If somebody tell you they don't care about the stock price, all right. So watch who listens and watch who does not.
Yeah,
You know where you are welcome.
yeah. So, Sir
Yes,
Cliff,
man.
well, you say you got the answer you wanted, right?
I feel satisfied with the answer, you know.
Okay, you feel satisfied with the answer.
Yes,
All right,
man.
that's
Yes,
good.
man.
That's
Because
good. That's
as
good.
you say, it's rare that you hear a CEO say he listens to his shareholders. From time to time, we hear people talk about outside shareholders, which you know if that really existing.
You see, you know, see them ownership, but them somehow they somehow operating as if they do, right?
Yeah, and you know
And they get listened to. Can you imagine that?
exactly,
They get listened to by the people who I don't hear listening to us.
exactly. So
Yeah, yeah.
after hearing Dina tonight, I feel bad not buying enough MFS below $3.
Well, it's on sale, you
Well,
know.
I tell you,
Above
It's
three
I
absolute.
dollars.
might have to buy. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and buy some more because 10 billion in 3 years,
He hopes. He said 10 if
10%.
10% of his plans work out. If 10% of his plans work out, he figures it will be. It's 10 billion a month or 3 billion.
10
in
billion.
3.
10.
10
Jaja.
billion in 3 years.
Can't fall the
10
ambition.
in
And he said,
3.
of course, that's
Imagine.
a hope. He wasn't promising officially. Don't tie the company to that, but that's a hope based on the
Yeah.
plans. That was a great conversation. Thank you very much again, Dino, for that. And thank you to everybody who asked questions,
Yes, man.
from the useful ones like Alexa's to the troublesome ones like Piggles. Yeah. Hey, and Piggles, big up Piggles for that question, because Piggles' question, I think, also allowed us to hear enough without running off any rules. So, Sir
Mhm.
Cliff, you have the pleasure of being the last person to talk since nobody else sent a speaker request. So, what was one thing you found exciting on the market? And those say outside of 138 and MFS, what's one thing you're excited about on the market before we go? Let's close on a nice note.
Wow.
What's the phoenix that you expect to rise from? Not necessarily ashes, but what's the thing that you're most excited about this year outside of those two?
Well, this year, most of my money is on MFS, you know.
Well, I say you can't say NFS, you have to pick
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
Let me see.
You think about that. One of the methods I like to do is I like to think about, well, one of the easy ways I do, like when I'm under pressure like this on BrickTalk, I bring up my money J and I just look at all the companies that I think about, I know about all of them and which one I want to talk
Yeah.
about. But if I'm thinking about my money, I often think about, let's say a year from now, what will be what would have happened in the monetary space in Jamaica. I don't mean the finance space. I mean, like, what will be hot a year from now? What is something that you look back a year from now, you're like, oh, dog, it's obvious that this thing would have brought in the money it did or the profits it did. You know, like looking back, think back a year ago, February a year ago, it would have kind of been obvious that oil would not stay low,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Because the pandemic was that was near the end of the pandemic. People are going out. Forget the Putin effect.
Yeah.
People are just outside again. So once you're outside again, you're naturally going to spend more money, right? So looking backwards, it's obvious. Like, of course, oil would have gone up. Of course, all the oil countries that make money from oil that would have taken a beating during COVID would kind of hike prices and cut production to make oil go higher. And then it then becomes a natural. Well, obviously, the only gas company on the exchange would benefit from that from a profit basis, right? It's easy to say that looking back, so I just did that in reverse. I'm thinking it's January or February 2024. What am I looking back and saying? Oh, it's obvious.
But now that you mention it, I'm thinking about RPL. Yeah.
What's the obvious thing that everybody knows, say, a year from now with RPL?
Well, I mean, they're already heavily into LPG, which we see another big player on the market telling us that they are getting into that space. So obviously there is something there. Plus, RPL is telling us that they're going into the petrol not distribution, but retail space as well. So they're looking to build out gas station and so forth. So I think maybe
they have a gas station, right?
Yeah, well, they have one and they're building one now, right? That's one of the purpose of the
or
IPO.
half of a gas station,
Yeah.
one could say.
So maybe a few years from now we might see more gas stations under that brand.
I could see that. I could see me looking back a year from now, talking to Danhai and BrickTalk and saying it's obvious. I mean, they told us that's what they wanted, they wanted the money for in the IPO, right? So it's kind of obvious that at least all right. This is Randy 2024. It's obvious that the gas station would have finished and they would have started a second one. It's obvious that when they finish the gas station, they would have had good pricing. It's obvious that they would have had cheap pricing because part of the business is also the wholesaling of the fuel. So they carry fuel to other stations. So it's obvious that they would have had the cheapest prices because they can cut their margin on that. It's obvious that the cooking gas industry would continue to grow. And I have to throw like a moonshot in there. It might not be obvious, no, but I think that we are going to, maybe not in a year, but maybe in a few years, alternative energy, renewable energy might be a lot more. We don't think renewable energy now. We think Wigton, which is wind, for now at least. I think they might do that microturbine. That was the interesting thing for me. That's the thing that I remembered that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the Wigton and the land. I tweeted about it to my circle, and then I didn't do it. I have chill session with the girl grads tomorrow, so maybe I won't say it here. Maybe we'll talk about that there. A little bit of research, but let's say it was a weird thing that they bought that little piece of land out by ferry there. So, but let me finish the RPL point. I just think that maybe there might be more cases of either LPG, which they are strong in, happening, and being a growth area, a strong growth area for them. I think that's actually what carries the belly of the business, if you will. And I think maybe there'll be opportunities for other products that maybe use LPG or LNG becoming more popular in Jamaica. Outside of just cooking, right? I mean, water heater, maybe somebody have an LPG powered AC, who knows? I don't know, I'm talking off the top of my head here. But I say all that to say that I don't think your pick is necessarily bad. Sir Cliff, RPL might actually be one of those obvious things a year from now. I can see us looking back a year from now and going, boy, I wish I did buy exactly what you just said. I wish I'd bought more below 3, and it's currently at 190, right?
Yeah.
So who knows?
I don't know. Let's see how long it continues to remain at that price.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a very, very interesting year because I don't think of the company as being bad at all. I think of it as maybe just overlooked timing, or maybe IPO
or APO
drunk.
Hey.
He actually said it, and let's not forget that.
He did say that, but
I hope he now listens to his shareholders.
I hope he don't listen to his brokers.
Yeah. Is it same crew?
Boy, I tell you. That is interesting. And then
it is interesting, right? It's actually the first thing I thought of when I saw that notice from one.
Yeah. Then we hear of more APOs to come.
No, that they have the same broker.
I know, and the broker is telling us.
Okay. I know. I wasn't going that far.
Yeah.
I did not think about that. Damn. But they might also be a rights issue, huh?
That's true.
There might be some love, some shareholder love going to go around.
Yeah. Well, I like
Or
that the
at least
market
listening.
is speaking with its voice
Yes, sir.
and with its pocket now. May the retail space continue to grow. I
The
hope we all
pocket is
make
the
a
voice
whole
of the
ton of
market.
there. I like that. Write that down.
In
Right.
interest,
Down.
Somebody quote me that on that 2 years from now.
Danhai Hall. The pocket is the voice of the market. That bad.
to go off on a tangent.
No, say
And the market is never wrong.
Phil just write it.
Sorry, Cliff. What were
Yeah,
you
man,
saying
I just
now?
wanted to go off on a tangent a little because, as you mentioned, retail and the strength of the retail, not in a derogatory way, but that's that court case, which I think was in was it the CCJ?
CWJ.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean
that
the
one?
Court of
the
Appeal?
court, right?
CCJ.
Yeah.
Caribbean Court of Justice attack.
Well, yeah, it's outside of Jamaica, so I don't know, but I'm thinking, like, how much strength you think that will give to retail shareholders in terms of, we having so
The thing about the law, it gives us a strength already.
Yeah.
It's also us to exercise it.
all right.
Yeah.
It then comes down to a case of. So the thing about it, though, the specific thing I see about it is that there has to be a disagreement along the lines of minority and majority shareholders.
Mhm.
So there has to be an interest. There has to be benefit to the majority shareholder.
Asymmetric benefit for the person pushing it. If the majority shareholder is pushing it, then they have to benefit in a way that the minority does not also benefit. So those are lines that's go. It's not just this thing me vex as Danhai and everybody else in the room and say, boy, let's put the nooses around our neck. Then it wouldn't necessarily go like that so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a massive thing, because let's say I don't like to do the fake company thing. I think that's
Me
a
neither
cop
at
out.
all.
I think it's stupid. But in this
Yeah.
case, I will do a fake company thing, or I use overseas companies. Let's say that what does Apple own that? Let's say that Disney, and what does Disney own? I mean, they kind of own everything, right?
I was going to say something wrong. Sorry, no.
Not anymore.
Damn.
Oh Lord. All right, so let's say that Disney, the parks, which is owned by Disney, the massive corporation, right? Let's pretend that that's a subsidiary. Let's say that Disney, the subsidiary, wants to do let's say they choose to do an APO, and what they're doing in the APO is they're bringing in Disney, the massive corporation, right? In a way that dilutes everybody else, all the other shareholders. Under this thing here, this ruling, what the interpretation we're seeing here, it would say that the voting on whether or not that APO could happen, Disney, the park company, who would be the majority shareholder in that, could not vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sit this one out, bro.
Yeah, they have to sit it out because their parent company, aka part of the group that they are in, stands to benefit from the doing of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a massive. This has massive implications for the future. I don't just mean for 1 year or 2 years. It has massive implications for the future, and it's really for the first person to sue another company about it. And I think we're gonna get more litigious as we go along.
We already are. We're getting.
And I like that. I like that some things are being questioned, and they should be questioned more. It's part of the maturity of a society for that to happen. The court should decide certain things. I'm really happy about this. And this specific article that you're referencing, I like how it ended. The gentleman who sued them, he was quoted in it saying, "I hope other shareholders in Jamaica will be heartened by this result, and that shareholders will begin to take a more active role in ensuring that publicly traded companies begin to improve their corporate governance and that shareholders also begin to demand that directors and officers of their companies understand where their very real and serious fiduciary obligation lies. That is an amazing quote. I wish it came from inside Jamaica, but it don't matter where it comes from. It helps us, it benefits us. And yeah, I'm happy for that. The real and serious fiduciary obligation that the officers and directors of listed companies have is to us, the shareholders. They should be listening to us. So let's have more of that in the future. Thank you very, very much for that point.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Big up. And thank you everybody who joined us this evening. Then I have anything you want to tell the people before we say good night?
Nothing but good night. Big up people. Again, as always, start investing if you haven't started yet. Keep investing. There's more to come. Trust me, don't lose at all from this game. Just keep investing. Trust me. And if you want help with that, RTO is right there. I am right there. DHAadvisor.com, or jump over to Grow if you want to learn. And trust me, the best bet I can think is to mix them. The Grow come across to get a discount either way from me or him. We get discounts to each other, and big up people again. Enjoy the weekend. Look out for more. I look out for I guess I'll go for next week, but I won't be here next week. So
yeah, then I'm skipping next week. Yeah, he's taking a break, and I might actually skip next week too. So who knows? We might have a week's break, or we might have a light on next week. Who knows? We'll decide. We'll find out next week. We'll all find out together. In the meantime, however, enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Danhai, and have a good night.
All right, people, bless up.
They ain't believe in us. God did.
Earnings season.